Adam and Jeff have great hair. Their sports opinions are pretty good, too.
That's why Sewell fell to you. Ding, ding.
MWS Live on Woodward Sports.
Let's get it started. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Jeff, good morning, bud.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited.
We are joined by a very special guest this morning. Yes, we are.
Do you fish?
So Alex Westfall is, he's too good for us. He's on break. Again. And we're joined by Stick this morning. What's up, Stick?
What up, everybody?
See,
up?
Alex went Hollywood on us, so we got Stick.
He's too good for us. But
the humble man Stick.
Regardless of the point, we gotta start off the show on, I think, the best note, which is the Detroit Lions schedule. Home away came out. We got to talk about it, Jeff.
Yeah.
No specific order. I'm just going to run through the teams that they play, and then we can go in on them one by one. The Washington Commanders at home. Chicago Bears, obviously, home and away. Mm-hmm. Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Green Bay home and away. Minnesota home and away. Philly, Buffalo, Miami. New England, New York, Carolina, Jacksonville, Seattle. Let's start with the Washington Commanders, who have the worst name in the NFL right now. They're without a quarterback. And their head coach is Ron Rivera, who I expect to get fired this year.
Yeah. At Ford Field as well.
And it's at home, at Ford Field.
Yep.
Just looking at it in a vacuum, you can't tell me 9 wins isn't achievable for this football team if obviously they hit in free agency. And I'm not expecting big signings, but mainly the draft. What are you doing in the draft? Are you going to address... Will you address linebacker, edge rusher, your secondary a little bit, and get a wide receiver? If they do that, I mean, look, you saw them down the stretch. Jared Goff was 3-1 as the quarterback of this football team. Mm-hmm. The offense got so much better and improved so much, and they were very dynamic down the stretch. Look, does it bleed into next year? No, it doesn't. But I think with Ben Johnson being promoted as OC, I'm very confident in the offense. Already confident in the defense. Aaron Glenn just needs more bodies. I see the team improving. I look at a team like Washington. That's a winnable game.
Definitely.
That's a game where that's a 3-point favorite for either team. It'll probably be the Detroit Lions considering they're at home. Mm-hmm. So it'll be a pick'em game. And then you're at Chicago, and you have 2 games against Chicago.
You should be able to split that.
Should be able to split 0-2 last season, so that wasn't ideal. You're visiting Dallas. That's probably a game you don't walk away with.
Yeah.
So right now, just based on the 4 games we previewed, they're 2-2. All right? You go to the Chicago Bears. Again, we already talked about it. They split. Now Green Bay home and away. Is that a split again? And what do we know about Aaron Rodgers? Nothing.
Nope.
What do the Packers look like next year? We don't know. And I think it's very fair to at least argue for a home-away split, where the home team walks away in both games. I don't think that's egregious at all.
No.
So we're at 3-3.
Yep.
Now let's do the Vikings. Do they split? To be honest with you, I don't think they win a game against Minnesota this year. I think Minnesota's going to win the division. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't show up, they're my favorites. And even if he does show up,
they're still contending.
I still think they win the division. I really do. I don't see Aaron Rodgers going away in the sunset.
Yeah.
That narrative doesn't work with cynical narcissists. So right now, the lines are at 3-5. Buffalo Bills, what are you doing?
Yeah, you know the answer
That's
to that.
likely a loss. Yeah. So you're at 3-6.
Even though is it at Ford Field? Regardless,
I believe it's in Buffalo. No, it is in Ford Field. You're right.
I mean, regardless. I mean, Buffalo's a different spectrum right now. Give me Buffalo in that.
Then Miami.
I think that's doable. I like Mike McDaniels,
I think that's a pick-em, right?
Yeah,
so
pick-em.
You're not saying the lines are 7-point favorites.
No.
But that's a winnable game, right? So
definitely.
We'll give them 4-5. New England Patriots.
I'm going to say loss, just because I'm trying to be, strong-minded, trying to think correctly here. So I'll say Patriots get a win there.
All right, so we're at 4-6, now 4-7. All right?
Okay.
New York Giants and the New York Jets.
Should be able to 2-0 them, both of them.
Both are on the road. Both are at MetLife.
Both on the road. Oh, God. Okay, well, there's a win against the Jets.
For sure, no matter what.
I think so. The Giants, it's like, damn, you got Daniel Jones, you got Zach Wilson. I feel like that's you can easily frustrate those guys. I don't know how the development of Zach Wilson's going to go, but as of right now, I'm confident. I'll say 2-0 against both New York teams.
Okay, I don't hate that. Carolina Panthers on the road.
I think that's another pick 'em. I think if they beat us, I'm not going to sit up here and say it's abysmal, but if we beat them, I'll be like, all right,
So this is kind of where I get into the situation where this is why I say this team should next year minimum 6 games. I think they've got 6 games on the schedule they need to win. Or they can win, but I'm very confident they can win. But you also want to show improvement, right? Nobody's going to want to talk about the Detroit Lions heading in the right direction if they win 3 games this past season and 3-4 games the next year. Even with Jim Schwartz, it was 2 wins, 6 wins, 10 wins, right? You saw the improvement. And I think that timeline makes more sense to me with this football team. It really does. Jacksonville, I think you could argue, is a win.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we have a problem with that.
I would agree with you.
And then Seattle, you don't know. Again, is Pete Carroll going to be fired by the time they play him? We don't know when they're playing, right? This isn't in any specific order, but I see 6-7 wins on the schedule.
They almost beat them last year, Seattle.
So if I'm giving them 6-7 wins, bare minimum, I think 9's achievable. You know, they win some games maybe you don't expect. Maybe they take both New York games. Maybe they upset a Buffalo, depending on where they get them throughout the season. Maybe they get them early on.
Yeah.
Buffalo's 3-0. They slip up.
It's kind of like
you got to lose games on your schedule, right?
It's kind of like the Jags last year with the Bills. Remember, they walked into that game, won 9-6.
Absolutely, and you could sweep the Bears because I actually think the Bears, I have a lot of question marks. What's Justin Fields going to look like? You were 0-2 against him last year. I think the split is the likely scenario, but I have no problem putting it out there. I think they can sweep the Bears, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's, going over the top. Dallas, Mike McCarthy, is he going to be on the hot seat by the time they play Detroit? Who knows? So a lot of question marks. The Philadelphia Eagles, another pick'em game. But again, you're getting the NFC East and the AFC East.
Favorable. Got it.
That's a nice division year.
When you went through this schedule, I went through. I counted how many wins I could pull out. I pulled out 7.
7, like on a
solid. Like I went through the schedule you're going through last night, and I tried to really think, objectively, and I found 7 wins. So I think that's a fair number. 9, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I was going to go 8, but there were some games like the Bears I split, the Packers I split. I gave them the loss to the Patriots and the Bills, teams like that. But still, like you said, a lot of these could go either way. So I'm setting my expectations.
Still
7 and 10.
Many question marks, right?
7 and 10.
There's still so many question marks because obviously you need to go through free agency.
Yes.
You need to go through the NFL
How good
draft.
are your rookies? I mean,
look, there's a lot of factors, but I think just looking at it without deep diving too much. All right, I don't want to get too far into it, but I do want to observe the schedule and say, you know what? Compared to last season, Jeff, where they had the number 4 ranked schedule or most difficult schedule in terms of win total, this year they're at 28th.
28th, baby.
28th in terms of win total and strength of schedule.
Yeah.
Their strength of schedule last year, I believe, was 6th and 4th based on win totals. That was not an easy season last year, so I kept telling you guys 3 wins.
But they kept it close for.
They did. Yeah, don't
part.
get me wrong. I mean, yeah, they played well.
They just
at certain points throughout the year. Obviously, they couldn't close the games, and a lot of that, whether it was play calling, execution, regardless, I think it's irrelevant in year 1 of a rebuild.
Right
now, year 2. You want to build a culture? I always say this. You got to win, right? You can't build a winning culture unless you're taking progressive steps towards winning.
There you go.
And I think Dan Campbell has a great opportunity ahead of him this year. The AFC East, the NFC East. You're looking at 7 new head coaches he's going to be playing against. Last year when teams played the Lions, they were going up against a first-time head coach.
Yes.
He will have that opportunity 7 times this year.
2 in his own division. So
4 games total.
Yeah, 4 games total.
4 games total on top of the other 5. That's 9 of the 17 games the Detroit Lions will play this year are against rookie head coaches.
It's favorable.
And again, you don't know what the roster is going to look like, who's going to be healthy, not healthy. Hawkinson coming back, is he going to be himself or is he always going to be hurt? I can't predict any of those factors. I don't even know what the rookie class is going to look like. What I do know is at face value, you're looking at that schedule and saying improvement this year.
Yeah.
Not 3 wins. 3 wins I think would be a disaster. I think it'd be a stain on the rebuild, at least for the head coach.
Definitely.
Maybe not the GM, depending how the talent works out. But, I mean, you're looking at all those new head coaches. I think the one that I look at and say, damn, is Kevin O'Connell. That's the guy I think out of all the ones you're going to play, especially because he's in your division. That's the guy I look at and say, God damn it, it's another Sean McVay assistant, coordinator, coming out, taking a job somewhere with talent immediately available to him. Whether you like Kirk Cousins or not, 33-7 last year.
Yeah.
He played pretty well.
And
I think the Vikings are the favorite.
And this isn't Bill Belichick's disciples. These disciples work out. So there's the fear in there. But, yeah, I think if I had to give, out of all the rookie head coaches we play, it's probably Minnesota. I mean, I don't know how good of a coach Matt Eberflus is going to be. So that's kind of why I split with the Bears. You could beat them 2-0. So a lot of things.
I'm not confident in Chicago. I don't know.
It's tough.
Look, when you hire a defensive coordinator, his OC better be a home run.
And I think they got the quarterback coach out of the Packers, Luke Gentry. I mean, it's
fine, but it's nothing like you're looking at, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Justin Fields is going to have a great offensive mind this year. I don't see that. Stick in the chat saying 11-6, get on the bus. Stick 11-6. I mean, it's not far off of me saying they can win 10, so I'm not going to kill you for it.
Yeah, I mean, the schedule is definitely favorable this year. Like, last year was a damn nightmare, so this year definitely a lot easier, and I think now I have more faith in Dan Campbell than I've ever had in my entire life. I have faith in Brad Holmes. I'm just excited to see what they add to this roster, too, in the offseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that, where we were last year at this point, what was the discussion? Well, it was strictly the draft, but you weren't sure what to expect from this team, right? And then they got a Jamal Williams, and then the Penei Sewell pick, and then they drafted 2 linemen, and then it was the linebacker and the wide receiver. They're like, okay, let's see what this team can do. But you weren't sure what their identity was. And, I guess you could make the argument, well, their identity was, playing hard. But every team plays hard. That's not a quality if you don't have a true identity in how you play. How do you attack opposing teams offensively and defensively? And I think what we're going to see from the Lions this year is a more complete offensive game plan. And you're going to see Aaron Glenn, if they draft correctly, have much more options to play with on the defensive side of the ball. And I think they'll be a much better defense. I don't think they'll be bottom of the league. I think they'll be anywhere from as high as 18th in the league, as low as 23, 24. I think that's where the Lions fall defensively in this season in terms of statistical categories.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's the points allowed they did well at, but again, yards given up. There's a lot of statistics. The defense was good last year, but
Bill Belichick's defense, and I know this is comparing Bill, but his defenses were always the bend don't break, and you always saw that with the Lions. Hell, it would be a Jared Goff fumble. They'd start at their own 20, team would walk away with only 3 points.
There you go.
That was the Lions defense last year. You can look up the stats and say, well, they're 31st and 32nd. That's fine.
You got to watch the games.
They were in a lot of those games because of the defense.
Yes.
The Denver game, they were in it because of the defense. Cleveland, defense. Baltimore, defense. I think Aaron Glenn's going to take a big step this year, probably get a head coaching job after.
Absolutely.
I think anywhere between, I'm willing to accept at the lowest 6. What do you think?
That's
I think
good.
6 is my,
That's
I won't
good.
criticize the season as long as I see improvement, but I think 6 wins is enough of a leap. Obviously, it's double the win total, but for me, what it tells me is, all right, year 3, I expect a 10-win
There you
season
go.
now,
Yeah.
right?
It's a lot more clear.
Because my expectations are going to get higher and higher every year with a coach. You have to take that progressional step. It can't be you come out the gate shooting fire and then shoot blanks the rest of your coaching tenure. You can't do that. And I always use Jim Schwartz as an example. 2, 6,
That's why
and
I like
10.
it. What do you win?
Right?
6 games the second year.
2 wins, 6 wins, then 10 wins. And with Dan Campbell, it could be 3, 7, and then maybe 11, 12. Who knows? We don't know how good he can be, right? And that's one of my biggest things, is if I don't see a ceiling yet on a quarterback, or on a head coach,
Yeah.
I'm not ready to move off of him. When I see that you have a ceiling, or you have something about you that isn't growing anytime soon, and I don't see it growing, and I don't see it winning with this team, then I move off you. With
Which is
Dan
fair.
Campbell, I think nobody knows what his ceiling is yet, and I actually think he's proven a lot more than I expected going into his first year, especially leadership decisions. I'm not talking making people happy, guys. I'm talking the Anthony Lynn decision, promoting Ben Johnson instead of Deuce Staley, making the right decisions. And taking over play calling, he was much better than Anthony Lynn. I'm excited for it.
Absolutely.
We got to go to break. Before we do, Jeff, could you please tell everybody at home about our good friends at the Fulling Warehouse?
Yes. Well, we talk about quarterbacks in this year's draft, and the Fulling Warehouse would be the place to play a game with them. Imagine playing Fulling with a quarterback, let alone Matthew Stafford. It'd be unfair. That's why you need to come with your normal friends that don't play professional football. Come to the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck. You can host your corporate party, your team building event, or you can just come in with family and friends. They have two ways to play, either $10 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for $120 for up to 10 people for 2 hours. They have 100 different beers. They also have their $2 mystery beer machine, and they have multiple full bars. You bring the food, or you can have it delivered in. Come get your full on. Check it out at fullingwarehouse.com.
Think you're a big shot?
Oh, excuse me, it goes down!
Think you can make the big shot?
Washington fires. It hits!
Woodward Sports wants to send you to the finals for college basketball April 2nd through the 4th in New Orleans. That's right, you and a friend in the Big Easy. We'll take care of the airfare, hotel, and tickets to see the finals for college basketball. Listen Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show. Big D Energy. And the bottom line for your chance to qualify. If you can make the big shot, you and a friend are getting out of the cold and to New Orleans.
Got it!
Keep listening and watching for your next chance to win. Powered by Planet Fitness, Syntron, and the Sports Marketing Agency.
And it's over! Anything can happen in March!
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. Jeff, should the NFL change their overtime rules during the playoffs specifically? Meaning, the new proposed rule is, once we get to overtime, regardless of who gets the ball first, both teams will have an allotted possession. Meaning, if both teams score 3 points, well, now it becomes sudden death. If one team scores and the other doesn't, the game is over, obviously. Similar to what we have now. And if the first team doesn't score and the second team does, well, game over.
Right.
Are you in favor of the rule only in the playoffs, or is it a regular season thing that needs to happen?
I think it's hard to do in the regular season because of now it's 17 games. You already had the concern about injuries, so you're adding the game. No, I like what they proposed in the playoffs specifically, and let me read you a statistic that'll probably help my argument. Since the current overtime rules went into place in 2010, there have been 12 playoff games that have went into extra time. 12. 10 of those were won by the team that won the toss. 7 of them winning on the first drive, such as the Chiefs this past playoffs. So we've seen it affect the Chiefs negatively as well as the Patriots. We saw, it wasn't fair that Tom Brady had the ball and won in overtime. Patrick Mahomes didn't touch it, but it wasn't fair that Josh Allen didn't get to touch it. So that's my problem. I mean, Brandon Beane compared basketball to getting extra time, getting the extra 5 minutes. He compared baseball as well. Although I don't agree with that completely, considering it is a more violent sport. I do think the offense needs a chance, and if you didn't see it in this past playoffs or previous playoffs, it's clearer than ever. And I like the Bills' proposal to at least acknowledge the fact that we're not going to include this in the regular season. It's too risky for the players, and I agree with them. 17 games, you're going to have overtime games that could go for a while if it's a shootout. I disagree, but playoff time, like, you worked your entire season to get to this point, like the Bills did, and I get it. Before you say anything, they had 14 seconds to stop Patrick Mahomes, so you're right. I'm not going to argue too much with you there. They should have stopped him with 14 seconds left, but if the game's going like it did, and you get to a point where Patrick Mahomes or whoever scores in overtime the first drive, I believe that the offense, Josh Allen in this case, should at least get the opportunity to drive down the field. To sit on the sideline and lose a playoff game, it just doesn't make sense to me. And that statistic, 12 playoff games, 10 of them won by the team that won the toss. Like, it's too favorable to the team that wins the toss statistically. So I have a problem with it, Adam. To fix it, I like their proposal the Bills tried, and if it's going to happen, it's only going to be in the playoffs. It ain't going to be in the regular season.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
And tell me why.
So the playoffs we watched, I mean, I guess you can argue were some of, I would argue, from the divisional round, hell, even the wild card. We saw some of the best football we've seen in the playoffs in 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, it was unbelievable. Every game was going down to the wire. And the problem I have with this method, Jeff, is it's not being applied to the whole season, okay? In theory, I don't mind you saying it should be this way because it's equally fair. But we have an offense and a defense, okay? This isn't just about offense and both teams getting an quote-unquote offensive opportunity. If you lose the toss, I know it may seem annoying. Well, the way you can get the ball back is by not allowing a touchdown, which isn't crazy to ask. I think the current rule right now isn't obnoxious. If the team that wins the toss goes down, scores a field goal, you get the ball back. You have an opportunity.
I get what you're saying.
And when we talk about player safety, okay, fair. You can't impose it in the regular season because now you're adding another, additional few hundred, maybe even 1,000 snaps in total across the league. Okay, fair. But the problem I have with that, Jeff, is most of those wins, and really most of the time, do you really see a team going down and scoring a touchdown right away? I know recency bias, we saw in this playoffs it happened a few times, but, Patrick Mahomes against Cincinnati, well, he threw an interception.
Right.
Late down going in towards the end of the game, and that's how Cincinnati set up the game-winning field goal. Like, I think we need to appreciate defense and make it a requirement. And then, you know what? Instead of pushing this game towards such offensive-friendly rules, I think you just need to level the playing field a little bit more, allow defenders to get their hands on players, maybe not hit them over the middle, obviously, but it's a tough one because, well, all regular season, all I need is 7 points to finish it.
Right.
Or all I need is 3, depending on when I get the ball. And then the second thing is, when I get to the playoffs, well, I already know I'm getting a chance. So, maybe I'm more aggressive on defense because now it changes my game plan.
Right.
So if I lose the toss, or if I win the toss in overtime, I'm actually going to give the opposing team the ball first. It's going to be my strategy, and I'm going to blitz often. I'm going to tell my corners to take chances. Why? Because if we get burned, my offense gets the ball. I'm good. And I tried to think about it a lot last night, and it didn't add up to me why they should, just because of one playoff, run where we saw It was that one game where everyone was like, damn, I wish Josh Allen had an opportunity. I'm with you guys. As a spectator, I loved it. But is it practical? I mean, I don't know. If you're not doing it in the regular season, well then, where does that leave me in the playoffs? It really does change my strategy.
And to respond to what you said about guys playing defense and knowing that my offense will get back on the field, it still sits in their mind if the opposing team scores. Let's say you're the Bills defense and you're allowing Patrick, well, I'll just let him score. Josh will get back on the field. If Josh doesn't score, you lose. So you don't want to allow Patrick Mahomes to score because then Josh can get back on the field like regular overtime and go score. So hopefully, enticing guys to let other opposing quarterbacks score isn't the right outcome of this. But I just thought it'd be fair. Like, okay, let's say there's a game, and we saw this past playoffs where there's two teams, defenses are tired, whatever the case may be. The Bills had the number 1 defense this year. They didn't look like they could stop anybody in that overtime game. So my argument would be, you have the best defense. They're not playing well towards the end of the game. At least you can have a chance for Josh Allen to bail you out instead of saying, well, our defense is tired. Patrick starting with the ball, you might as well just book it. Like, it's going to be a tough one. If two teams are going back-to-back scoring, it just makes more sense to me, but I see what you're saying.
What alternatives do we have? Where it doesn't involve the teams playing? Do we let kickers kick it off? I'm being serious now, because I'm seeing it in the chat. Obviously, I'm sure it's a joke, but do you have long snappers line up at the 40-yard line, and whoever can long snap it further wins? I'm joking, obviously, but I know everyone's calling for both teams to have a possession, but Now you're increasing the potential watch time of your games, right? And granted,
True.
the NFL is a little different.
Very true.
And people are willing to watch that long, but I don't see how it's practical to not have it in the regular season, but have it in the playoffs. And it completely changes my strategy. And, to be fair, if I'm going to overtime and I know I'm getting a possession, again, I can go for it on fourth down if I'm the team that gets the ball first. I have zero fear. Why would I punt it away so you can go down and kick a field goal? I'm not giving you a possession.
Right.
This may oversimplify it, but why don't they just add another quarter? Like, add another 5 minutes on,
Like the NBA
and
approach.
just play it like that, and keep adding quarters. So that way, if time runs out, guess what? Sorry, time ran out. Or you're just playing against the clock at that point. It's no longer we're dictating who gets the possessions. It's like, nope, you got another quarter to figure it out. If you don't do it, guess what? We're going to another quarter.
Yeah, I don't mean to discredit any of the other professional leagues, but football is such a different, violent sport. Hockey, they get away with it in the playoffs only, but not that it's not as intense. But you're skating, you're not. You're physical, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that concept. Even if it works, I get why people want both teams to have a possession. I think it's more entertaining.
So add another 12-minute quarter, man.
No, you wouldn't want to do that because you're putting player safety now. You're
It's the
raising.
playoffs. Who cares?
No, it doesn't make sense. Why would you play a whole quarter? You're gonna play a 15-minute quarter, and both teams gonna play the whole 15 minutes to decide.
You're
a
damn
winner?
right. You had 60 minutes to decide it. You couldn't get it done. Now you get another 15. If you can't get it done, keep beating the hell out of each other till someone dies.
Does the players union have to approve some stuff too?
Oh yeah, I don't think that. I don't know how that works.
I wonder because Brendan, being the general manager of the Bills, brought up basketball as well. But I'd agree with you. I just think that the idea of adding more time and just saying play till the clock runs out is tough to add in football. But at the same time, as a consumer,
We just added a game, right?
yeah.
We're at 17
So you're adding a
games
game
now.
and then you're adding more time and overtime. It's player safety. You're kind of diverting from it a little bit. But
Yeah, look, I know they're professionals. I know they're paid to do this, but
Y'all being soft, man. This is the
not.
playoffs.
It's
They're
not.
fighting for a championship. If they
It's
can't
not.
play
I'd
another
rather-
15
I'd rather
minutes, you
both
don't
teams
deserve the
get-
championship.
I'd rather both teams get one possession and figure it out than play a whole 15
Regular
minute quarter.
season, yeah, I'm okay with that. Regular season, end in a tie, give them a 5-minute quarter, whatever. But playoffs, man, this is
I get
it.
you. I get you. My issue would be like if you're going in the extra 5 minutes and Joe Burrow buckles his knee or whoever, Aaron Donald does whatever, and someone gets injured in that extra 5-minute period. Like, although I want the offense to get a chance, if they're just playing back and forth, it's tough for me to.
Scared money
The
don't make money,
strategy
Jeff.
of
Scared money don't make
of
money.
the game.
Very true. He's got a point.
The strategy of the game goes. It's completely different based on these rules. If anything, I'd actually agree more with just giving each team a guaranteed possession than having them play the entire quarter.
See, that's my biggest complaint about like hockey. That it turns into a specialty contest. Like, you shouldn't change the game; just extend the game. That's
What do you mean?
it.
Well,
like,
in hockey,
like a
again,
shootout
it's a
and
different
stuff like that. I
sport.
hate
it's
that.
a different sport, man. Hockey is endurance. It is physical. It's very physical, especially in the playoffs. But when we're talking football, I don't see that as something that people are going to sign off, especially player safety.
Hey, Easy said it's the last game. It is what it is. That's what he said. Player safety goes out the side in the playoffs.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I'm
yeah,
with them on that.
yeah. That's why you guys don't represent the NFLPA. And if I was an NFL player, I would ignore you guys.
Yeah, that's why we'd represent the owners and say, "Get your ass out there and play."
Yeah, right.
Kill me, God. Kill me. All right, we got to go to break. God damn it, man. When we get back, speaking of going to break, by the way, when we get back, we got to talk about the best wide receiver the Lions could possibly get, given they select likely at 32, right? Or in the second round, third round, fourth round. We'll get into that. But also at 9 o'clock, draft scout expert Russell Brown joins the Morning Woodward Show to preview today's combine, talk about the players to watch. I'm very excited for that. But Jeff, before we go, could you please tell everybody at home about our good friends at the Sports Marketing Agency?
Yes, well, our good friends at SMA, they've been leveraging pro athletes and other notables for a decade against the issues around mental health and substance use disorder. Now, with the help of NFL alumni, Sean Jordan has been able to save lives and take a stand against these issues, and that's why soon coming to Woodward Sports is a sports marketing agency podcast called This is the F Word series on fentanyl. If you are struggling with substance abuse or mental health, they are here to help. please go to thesportsma.com and please have them let them know that Woodward Sports sent you.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Your Detroit alternative to the normal sports blah, blah, blah. It's Woodward Sports.
Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show, guys. I am deeply offended.
Probably not.
So, can I tell you the backstory here?
Yes,
because
please.
it's
Somebody
pretty
explain
wild.
to me why we're penalizing disabled people.
So, people are even angry that they're allowed to compete, just in general.
Why? They have their own specialty Olympics.
No,
What's the problem with that?
Well, I'm talking about the Russian athletes. They're pissed that the Russian athletes
Yeah,
are
but
even
it's
able
not
to
like
compete.
the disabled athletes are juicing. Are they?
No, because
Is that a
they-
thing?
I don't think so.
No, it's
In the
because
Paralympics, do they juice? I don't know. I don't watch it.
It's because of the invasion.
Stupid, man.
All right,
Stupid. Now we're punishing the disabled people. Way to go, society. You're doing great.
They're just punishing everyone that's Russian. And oh, by the way, the Paralympics happen to be starting tomorrow.
I don't even want to talk about it. Who is the best wide receiver the Lions likely will be able to select? Jeff, I'll start with number 32 overall, based on all the mock drafts, right?
Yep.
David Bell is a name. Jahan Dotson.
Trey
Those
Lance.
are the names that are starting to fall. A George Pickens, you can also select at the end of the first round.
Yes.
Of the 3, 4, 5 guys that you know for sure are going to be there or likely going to be there at 32, who's the guy you're taking? And if not, are you trading up this year for a wide receiver?
To answer the question, no, I'm not going to be trading up, and we'll walk through it real quick because a couple great wide receiver prospects, but they're not going to be here. Drake London probably going to be taken early. Same with Garrett Wilson, and I'm assuming Chris Olave. So those are my guys that I'm not going to take into consideration, assuming they'll be off the board. If they're there at 30, I want a wide receiver at 34, so I'm not going to go for 32. I'll go 34. 32 probably should be another either safety or linebacker, but we'll start at 34. The guys that will be there in my prediction, you have Jahan Dotson, you mentioned it, David Bell. I'm hoping Treylon Burks as well, and I'm comfortable with any 3 of those guys. Personally, I've said this for the last couple weeks, just watching more and more film. I like David Bell. He's 6'2", big frame. He's had more receptions than both of the other receivers, he did go to a pass-heavy school in Purdue, but to me that benefits him. And although I wouldn't be mad at any of the 3 guys, I hope it is with that 34th pick because we went through the mock draft Monday. I went defensive end and then safety at the end of the first round. If they fall to you at 32, they'll be there at 34. Trust me. David Bell, Jahan Dotson will be there at 34. So it should go defense. And at 34, give me David Bell, someone that I'm a fan of, somebody that I feel like could play right away next to Amon-Ra. You could put him on the outside. You could throw the ball to him in the middle of the field. He can do a lot of things. So or Treylon Burks, another guy that I'm a fan of. But Jahan Dotson, David Bell, Treylon, any of them I'll take. But personally, I've stuck by. I'm going to stick by David Bell. That's someone I've always kind of enjoyed to watch.
You know what? In most of the mocks I've seen, you have obviously Sky Moore's going to be available, but you don't know how much he's going to progress, right? We're going based on the current board, and that's going to change. We have the combine, we have pro days,
yes,
and people are going to skyrocket up. And when I look at a Jahan Dotson, love him. George Pickens, love him. If I'm going with any of these guys, Stick. I also want to know what you think, but for me, I know Brad Holmes got Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round. I am very ecstatic about it. I couldn't be happier. And he actually did the right thing because if you look at the wide receivers taken past the 1st round, there's nothing really special. Rondell Moore didn't work out. The kid out of LSU that went to the Panthers didn't work out. I forget his name. Terrence Marshall. Amon-Ra St. Brown, after the 1st round, was the best wide receiver, and he was better than some of the guys that went in the 1st round.
Mm-hmm.
So, I understand he was successful last year doing that, but I do believe the wide receiver you can probably take from 32 to 34. It's going to be a guy that can walk into your team, get you 1,200 yards in today's NFL.
Yeah,
I really do believe that. And my question off of that is, what are you willing to do if again, we don't expect the Lions to be able to trade back. There's no quarterback right now. There's no clear expectation of somebody moving up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 slots. But we know that Drake London, right? Chris Olave.
I'm assuming Jameson Williams.
Garrett Wilson.
Injury,
Jameson Williams likely going to be taken, though.
Even though, yeah.
So these guys are going to be selected from 8 to 20 minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have maybe your selection of a David Bell. Maybe your selection of all these guys. But my question for both of you is, what is more important to you? And I'm going to give you a scenario because I don't think it's fair to ask you without some context. Let's say the Lions are all in. They take a defensive end, okay?
Okay.
They take one of the 2 ends available. All right. What do you do at 32? Because you have to remember, at 32, you have the option in 4 years to extend that player. You draft at 32 with a 5th-year option.
Right.
What's more important, the 5th-year option on a wide receiver, or possibly a safety that you take, or possibly a linebacker that you take, or possibly even, I could argue, another edge rusher maybe. Who knows? A Cameron Thomas, the kid out of Florida State. Who knows? Mm-hmm. What's more important, the 5th-year option on a wide receiver, offensive skill player, or a defensive player? Jeff?
I will say this. If I'm going to look at that, I'm going to look at the prospects. And out of the wide receivers, in my opinion, for safety, you have Lewis Seen, you have Jaquan Brisker. Those are 2 guys that are going to be available at that 32, hopefully, for the Lions. If we're talking about a 5th-year option, then what's important to me is having that extra year. And if you're going to add an extra year to a guy, it's going to be a guy that's playing excellent football. And if I could bank on somebody playing excellent football, it's one of those wide receivers. Now, would I like to take him at 32? Probably not. But again, 32 and 34 are flippable. You could take whoever you don't take at 32 will be there at 34. So to answer the question, Adam, it's got to be a player I'm most confident in. And to be honest, although I'm not a fan of taking a wide receiver first, I feel like it is the wide receiver because those are the guys that I'd rather bank on being eventually you're going to have to extend and pay big money to. I don't know about Jaquan Brisker. I like him, but I would have more confidence in, if Chris Olave falls or, one of these guys fall.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't expect that to happen, right? Mm-hmm. To 32, a Chris Olave, a Garrett Wilson,
I'll go through
right? Because you have
guys.
the Jets, you're going to have the Browns who are going to need a wide receiver. Hell, the Ravens are going to have to be in a market for a wide receiver.
Like a Treylon Burks, for example.
They're basically nutting in Baltimore over the center out of Iowa right now, so they're probably going center, but that's even if they're able to get him, regardless of the point. That 5th-year option to me is more valuable on the defensive side of the ball because this is not a knock on whoever the wide receiver is. This is the reality is I can replace a wide receiver every single season if I wanted to. Every year I could draft one. They're available. It is one of, if not the, I could argue, 3rd, 4th most important position in football right now. You need wide receivers. Look at the previous 3 Super Bowl champions. And look at the teams in the Super Bowl.
They got great wideouts.
Bengals, Rams, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp. Tom Brady and the Bucks versus Kansas City Chiefs. All right, you had Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. I consider him a receiver, really. He's not really he's a tight end, but Jesus Christ, the numbers he puts up, right? And then you look at even the year before. The Niners are the exception, but you still had the Tyreek Hill, right? Mm-hmm. You have a dynamic, explosive receiver. And if you look at the teams that won their division, I always told you 7 out of the 8 divisions, 7 out of the 8 division winners this year had the best quarterback in their division. 7 out of the 8. Of the 7, 6 of them had the best wide receiving duo or wide receiver in their division. The wide receiver position 5-6 years ago, we weren't talking about it this way.
Right.
But with the way the league keeps basically throwing away defenses and allowing wide receivers separation, a free release off the line of scrimmage, it's getting tougher and tougher, and that's why the value of DBs has gone down. Mm-hmm. Look at Jalen Ramsey. He's one of, if not the best in football, right? And I don't want to pick on him. But how did he look against a damn good wide receiver? He got smoked.
Got smoked.
And that's why Okuda at 3 never made sense. Who the hell? You're going to guard Justin Jefferson, dude? Yeah, okay, good luck with that. He put up 140 yards in the first half against the Lions this year. Come on. It's a different game now.
It is.
It really is a different game. The league's always evolving, though. I will say that.
It is.
The league is always evolving. Teams are always going to try to find out what's next. And I think what you're seeing now is you need a quarterback, right? That'll never change. I think we can all agree. But on top of that, it'll always change in order of what you need. But maybe you can get away with now not having a great offensive line as long as you have a great pass rush and a great wide receiving core. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the league right now, temporarily. Who knows how long it lasts, right? Because you had Joe Burrow make it, and he was sacked. He was the most sacked quarterback
Matthew
in the
Stafford
NFL.
didn't have the greatest offensive line for the Rams.
They were middle of the pack, but they were
They're
okay.
all right,
You know, they
yeah.
did their job. But still, you look at the wide receivers he had.
Right.
Look at the defensive line he had. Trey Hendrickson on the Cincinnati Bengals. That's where the league is shifting. That's where the league is going. And if I'm the Lions, let's say I don't take an edge rusher at 2. Let's say I'm able to trade back. All right, great. I can take one at 32. But who's going to be available? And this is my biggest problem with trading back. You lose control of the board the moment you trade back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 picks, doesn't matter. You're losing more control of the board. So the guy you thought that would be available at 10 is no longer available. Then what? Well, you're settling now for the next best player on your board. It's a tricky game. The reports last year, if I remember correctly, Brad Holmes was trying to move up in the draft. I believe,
Might have been for
I
Levi.
want to say Dorsey stepped in and kind of advised him not to.
Could have been for Levi, I'm pretty sure.
So sometimes you got to let the board come to you. Sewell fell to you, right? You need a little bit of luck sometimes. And you got to let it play out, and you got to know when to be aggressive and when to pull back.
Right.
And if there was ever a year to trade back, it would be this year. But there's no quarterback at the top of the board. So what are you doing? Who's trading up? I'm not trading up 8, 9 picks. I'm not. If I'm a GM, what quarterback am I trading up for number 2 to grab?
Nobody.
Nobody. Kill me, God.
Malik Willis.
I can't believe that's a thing.
It's becoming more of a thing too.
That's
This
sad.
is like Zach Wilson last year, bro.
Dude,
In the reason why Sticks right on point is if you saw the podium for Malik Willis at the combine, it looked like a concert, dude. There was probably like 50, 60 reporters just waiting to ask
feels like
questions.
he's the only quarterback that can throw further than 30 yards, maybe.
And that's probably why
That's what it
everyone's-
feels like. Look, Kenny Pickett's nice. I think he's the most ready. Malik Willis could be a project, but are you drafting a project at number 2? The Niners can take Trey Lance.
Yeah, we are.
Well, kill me.
Yeah, we are.
Kill me. I swear to God, I'm not joking. They take Malik Willis at 2, I probably end it.
Really, even though Brad Holmes has kind of like at least gotten some equity in your brain?
Even then, you know what, man? It's just tough because we're not the San Francisco 49ers. We don't have that team where you can sit a quarterback and take him at 3 and then make an NFC title game. We are in the midst of a rebuild. Our defense is dying for assets on the defensive side of the ball. And you know what? Jared Goff, for all the criticism he may deserve, Ryan Tannehill ended up winning the number 1 seed in the AFC. Jimmy G, game man. Like, you can win with these kind of guys. They don't need
Tannehill's
to be...
elite.
Huh?
Tannehill's elite, at least athleticism.
I love you, Stick.
Dude, he's sneaky fast.
I know,
He's
I know,
like
but
Mitch
you
Trubisky
get
when it
what I'm
comes.
saying,
He's
though,
like
right?
Mitch Trubisky when it comes out. It's like, how the hell is this guy getting
He's
40 rushing
more
yards a
athletic
game?
than he looks.
Yeah.
But I think you get
Probably
where
'cause
I'm
he's
going
white.
at with this is you don't need the guy to win football games. You don't. But would you prefer to have him? Of course you would. But yeah, Detroit, you had one for 12 years.
Right.
And now we're talking about getting one even though it's a project. And you are so close to building this roster to a point where I feel really confident about it. And you want to throw that away for a quarterback at number 2? Who you're going to pay, what, $7-8 million a year to sit on the bench? And you still have to pay Jared Goff $30 million on the books this year? Come on, guys.
Malik Willis!
I swear to God, man, you know what? If they draft Malik Willis at number 2, it's going to take a lot in me not to jump off of Ford Field, the Ambassador Bridge, or just go home and shoot myself.
Can I give you guys a quick question before we go to break? If Jamison Williams falls to you at 32, what are you doing? Are you
I'd
taking
consider it.
him? Okay.
I definitely consider it. You probably take
Despite the ACL?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's on board?
Yeah, look,
Okay.
I mean, in today's
Thought
world,
that was crazy, but
we've
I
seen
kinda
people
like it.
recover from ACL injuries in 4 to 5 months, Achilles 6 to 8 months. I mean, science, medical has taken such a step forward. Back when I tore my ACL, it was an 8 to 12 month recovery. If I tore it
insane
today,
how fast people come back.
I could come back in 4 to 6 months.
And it's not only that they're coming back; it's that they're coming back and contributing. Because like Cam Akers, for example, is somebody, because not to get into fantasy football because we're way out of that, but I was going to try to trade for Cam Akers in my dynasty league when he got injured. Then I started doing research on people coming back from their ACL injuries, and like the percentage of them coming back and contributing was 0. Outside of Adrian Peterson, nobody's ever really come back and had an impact on the game. But we saw it this year. Cam Akers got hurt mid-season, back and effective during the playoffs. It was wild.
Right. And then Odell tore his ACL, went to the Rams, played well, tore his other ACL.
Look, in today's medical field, guys, your ligaments are getting stronger when they. So, like for example, with my knee, they took out a ligament from my quad, and they used it to replace my ACL. And I swear to you, I'm not joking. I feel like my left knee is much stronger than my right one. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make. They say it about when you break your bones. It comes back stronger. So look, we've advanced in science and technology.
It's great.
Here we are. Injuries don't matter apparently anymore. But when we get back, the NBA releases their latest rookie ladder. Jeff is ready to kill himself, I'm going to let him lead on that. But before we go, Jeff, could you please tell everybody where you deliver and where you grace us with that sexy hair of yours?
God, you made me laugh. Well, as you know, we broadcast this show live from the headquarters of Lady Jane's for Men in Birmingham, and it's awesome to get off the air, for myself especially, and get to one of their talented stylists. I talk about it all the time. They got the comfy chairs. I'm looking at it right now. The ladies will take care of you. They're open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. So get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week, walk in anytime because it is wicked awesome.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
And a miraculous catch.
Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. The Rookie of the Year rankings have come out again, projections, if you will. Cade Cunningham is at number 3.
Travesty. You know what?
Take a sip of that Cintron.
I have to calm myself down with some Cintron. You know why? I just need clarity. That's all I'm asking. I'm an NBA fan, and I've been watching for a while, and I want clarity on this Rookie of the Year award right now. Please, I need a representative of the NBA to respond to me, and I need to know, is it the MVP? Are we looking at team success? I need to know the answer, because if it matters, that's the MVP. We're looking at Rookie of the Year, impact on his team. I get it. You can look at team success. But let me compare the players, please. And we can take into account statistics. For me, I'll just speak for myself. I take into account both what they mean to their team, not necessarily their record, but value. And Scotty Barnes, number 2 on that list, is the 5th leading scorer on his own team. The 5th. You heard me correctly. The Toronto Raptors have 2 guys scoring 20 points. They have Gary Trent Jr. scoring 18. They have Siakam on the team as well. I don't want to hear it. If Cade was on the Toronto Raptors, the record would be there. The statistics would be there because he's leading all rookies in points, right? Correct? So I want to know this. Cade Cunningham is not only 4-1 against both of these guys, and he's on a worse team, but he's 2nd on the Pistons in scoring. He's tied for 1st on the Pistons in steals. He's 1st in assist. He's 3rd in rebounds on the Pistons. And not only that, let me go further. He's 1st among all rookies in scoring. And not only that, he's got the most 25-point games this season out of all the rookies. Oh, and to top it off, he's 1st among rookies in clutch time. Okay, he's the most important time of the game, right? Correct? So he's the most clutch. He has the most 25-point games. He leads his team in more statistics than any other rookies. And you're going to sit here and stare me at the face, all these media members who vote on this, and say he's 3rd? Take Cade Cunningham off the Pistons. They got 5 wins. I'll tell you that, 2 wins. If you take Scotty and Evan both off their respective teams, I'll bet you every money I have in my wallet they're in the playoffs. Here's our first clip. Okay, Scotty, go against Cade. Okay, look at Scotty on Cade. Oh, deuces. See you later. You're in second place or third. Bye, Scotty. All right, then we got the Evan Mobley. Oh, Evan Mobley against Cade, right? Send that back. Get out of here. All right, so not only that, we proved right there. Those are 2 examples. You know how long it took me to get both those clips? 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I looked up on Twitter, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley, the first clip, whooping his ass. Cade Cunningham, Scotty Barnes, whooping his ass. So I don't want to hear it, NBA. Cade Cunningham is #1 in the Rookie of the Year race. If you want to give me Evan Mobley, I'll let it slide. But to say he's third, you know what? I'm feeling humble today, guys. I'm feeling humble. I'm willing to let Evan Mobley have the award if it's possible because he's been healthy. I'll give you that. He's been healthy in more games. But other than that, what the hell? What are we doing with this award? And please explain to me. And that's why I came and I was so excited to do this show because I want all the viewers, guys, and everyone in the studio to help me understand and get clarity. Is it the MVP or is it Rookie of the Year? Please explain to me. Adam, maybe you can help. I don't get it.
I don't think I can help you. That was quite the...
I don't get it.
That was quite the speech.
I don't get it. I really don't.
You have my vote if you ever ran for office. Just saying.
Oh, I got it. I just don't get it.
Look, I will agree. I think number 3 is a bit ridiculous. I mean, come on. Cade Cunningham is clearly, I think, the best rookie.
Definitely.
In the NBA right now. I don't think that's a question. Now, who's the Rookie of the Year? I'm going to say Evan Mobley.
Which I'm good with.
I think he's contributed more consistently. He hasn't been as hurt as Cade Cunningham. I don't think it's fair to have Cade over him yet, but if Cade keeps playing like he has the last 3-4 games, down the stretch the rest of the year, yeah, good luck not giving it to Cade Cunningham. But right now, for me, it should be Mobley 1, barely above Cade.
Right.
And number 2, and then a distant Scotty Barnes at 3. It's not even close. Mobley and Cade are clearly the best 2 that came out of this draft.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so proud of you. That was great. Tell me more.
I don't understand, because I get it. MVP, you have to look at team records. You're the most valuable player on your team. I get that. Rookie of the Year, it's not most valuable Rookie of the Year. That's not the award. The award is Rookie of the Year, individual performances. And if Cade takes the crown on 25-point games with 45% shooting, and he's first on his team in multiple categories, I just don't get what we're looking at.
Are the Cavs a better team with Cade Cunningham or Evan Mobley?
Oh, I'll answer that. I would say they already have size, so give me Cade Cunningham on both teams.
You swap Cade with any of these guys, those teams all get better. You swap those guys with Cade, the Pistons may be the first 0-82 basketball team in NBA history.
Ever, yes.
Because Jeremy Grant would be leading the team. And we all know what Jeremy Grant is, a bum. When he's a number 1. When he's a number 3, I like him.
And that's crazy. Imagine if the Pistons traded Grant, Cade would be the #1 scorer on his team as well. So I put second on the team, but if Cade,
I mean he's barely the lead.
Barely.
It's not even by much.
By a slim. So I just need clarity, guys. Maybe people in the chat can help me with that. I don't know. The NBA doesn't seem to give a rat's ass. So is it most valuable rookie or is it Rookie of the Year? That's all I want to know. Please stick. Am I crazy, Stick? Like, what are your feelings on this? I don't get it. I really don't. Maybe someone else.
Sometimes in life, Jeff, things can't make sense.
As the local homer here at Woodward Sports, of course he should be #1 in the voting. These people are absolute idiots. Jeff, you took the words right out of my mouth, man. And I don't care about anybody from Cleveland. I don't care about anybody from Toronto. What the hell happened to Jalen Green? He's on a milk carton somewhere. So that's all I care about. I don't care about the other 2. Jalen Green, I'm glad you suck.
Yeah, no, and that's I had to add that in. You can't go this whole segment without throwing in Jalen Green. I didn't see him anywhere on this list. He's probably like top 4 or 5.
He's running his mouth somewhere.
Yeah, he's down there somewhere.
Well, for all the running his mouth that he will do.
Yeah.
All right. Jalen Green is set to make a little over, holy God, $40 million in the next 4 years. Guaranteed money. And that doesn't include the 5-year, $125 million minimum extension he can get. And he's eligible for at the age of 22.
Yet so Cade is still living rent-free in that
head.
I
know. I'm just saying, like, the guy's doing just fine, even if he's a bust.
Yeah, no. He's getting paid.
I will say, though, about Cade Cunningham, when we look at the best rookie, I think it's not even close. I think he's excelled the most. I think he's the most complete player to come out of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And how often do we have a #1 overall pick? And it's the guy who went 3rd, 4th, 5th that ends up being the best player. Anthony Edwards is nice. He's no LaMelo Ball.
Thank you.
Wiseman's nice. There's no LaMelo Ball. All these players are nice, but do you guys remember the Cleveland draft? What was his name? Bennett?
Anthony Bennett.
I can't believe he went number 1 overall.
Yeah.
That just shows you how often the number 1 busts,
suggestion?
actually. Kevin Durant wasn't number 1. He was number 2.
Portland. Scratching their heads.
Yeah,
still.
but you know, what are you going to do?
Greg Oden, he was a beast
When
in
he
college.
played, he was a unit, man. He was really unstoppable.
He was.
It just injuries got in the way. I hope he's okay, because last time I seen him, he looked in rough shape.
But that's the biggest issue I have, and I'm glad everyone kind of sees it the same way. I just don't get it. I've always valued Rookie of the Year. Who is the best rookie on the respective teams? I'm not going to look at, how their team performs game to game. I look at how does this player contribute to their team? I just told you Scotty Barnes is 5th on his team. Evan Mobley's 4th. I get it. Evan Mobley's a great defender. He's actually number 1 on his team in blocks. Are we giving the award strictly based on blocks? I mean, if you want to, that's fine with me. But I'm giving the award based on a complete game. Cade has a complete game. He's shown more. The shooting efficiency numbers are going up, so that's not going to be an argument. The only thing I could give would be games. He's played in a couple less games than both of the other rookies, but other than that, you're crazy. I mean, the NBA is crazy. Whoever's making these lists.
Yeah, and Mobley's not putting up like a double every night. I mean, what is he? 14 and 8. It's nice.
It's nice.
Cade's basically what? 16, 7 and 6.
Yeah.
So, yeah, look, I'm not too caught up on it. If you guys want to award Cade the Rookie of the Year, I'm not against it. I have him number 2 right now. I still think he needs to play out the rest of the season. You guys
I love it.
Hate me all you want. Hate me all you want. You got to show some respect. But you know what? There's one argument you guys didn't make against Evan Mobley. That actually makes me sad. Stick almost did it, but then he stopped. He plays in Cleveland. He plays in a city where the population in the state need a chant just to remember how to spell out their own name.
Oh, wait!
Not going to finish that.
I'm not going to finish
They can't even spell Ohio. It's an illiterate state. That alone should disqualify them from Rookie of the Year because they can't even spell it all out, let alone say it. I swear one of these days somebody from Ohio is just going to drive by and end it for me.
I hope they do.
Huh?
I hope
Just
they
right
do.
through the window.
We'd hear that tractor coming from miles away.
Right down Woodward.
Oh, now me and you are dead. Good job. At least I don't have to die alone.
I love it.
One last point I want to make about Cade Cunningham that I think is not talked about enough is degree of difficulty. Okay? When you're an Evan Mobley and you're walking into a Cleveland team that showed promise a little bit last year, but it was, we just couldn't put the full team together. And now you're seeing that the front court's nice, the back court's nice, pretty complete. And Cade is 16, 6, and 6 right now. Or 16, 6, and 5, excuse me. He is the complete player. He's shooting over 31%, almost 32% from the three-point line. He's shooting, 40%, but he's a rookie. Nobody ever really looks at field goal percentage until you're in your prime.
As long as you're in the 40s.
3-4 years. Yeah, in the 40s.
You'll be all right.
Cade has gotten better from the three-point line. He's taken less threes, which has been nice. I want to see him get to the foul line more. He's averaging, how many free throws a game? 2? That's pathetic.
Yeah, it is.
He's getting bogus refereeing right now, and I hope by year 2, year 3, he's starting to get real calls because I'm not saying he needs to average 11 free throws a game, but 5, 6, 7.
But imagine that if he gets to the 5, 6, he's at 20 points a game.
Oh, minimum. He's at 21, 22 points, yeah.
I mean,
great free throw shooter.
Yeah.
We'll move on. Top of the hour, we got Russell Brown joining us in less than a minute. Maddie and Jeff, how are you?
Wonderful.
I'm good. I'm excited to talk to Russell, man. You guys are going to want to hear this.
Who's the better defensive player, Cade Cunningham or Evan Mobley? Toss up? I'll give you a better answer.
Yeah, different.
Guardian Alarm.
Oh,
better defense.
I like that, Adam. And I wouldn't argue with you at all because I know Guardian Alarm. I have experience with Guardian Alarm, and they kill it every single time. That's why you guys need to get it. Guardian Alarm, they get it. Guardian Alarm on good defense on and off the field helps you feel secure. And not only that, Guardian Alarm has state-of-the-art technology that helps you feel safe, all with 24/7 local monitoring. Guardian Alarm also has convenient features that lets you check in on your home, control lights and temperatures, even detect smoke or carbon monoxide. It will even let you lock and unlock doors, so that's why you need to call 800 Stay Out today. You heard Fish. Call 800 Stay Out. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years at keeping families safe.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Also featured on The Roar on 99.1, 93.5, and 94.7 HD2. Guys, we have a special guest joining us now. Russell Brown is here. Welcome, Russell.
Hey, how we doing?
Russ!
What's up, man? How are you?
Yeah, you know, Combine week. I'm doing well. How are you guys?
You're busy. I know. I'm doing good.
You excited for today? Today is like the inaugural, it gets real day.
It gets real.
Yeah,
Popping the cherry.
you get to watch. Yeah, you get to watch guys run around in their
Maybe not
underwear.
popping
It's
the
awesome.
cherry, Jeff, but Russ, I want to start with this question. We'll start off, a little lightweight. What are the expectations, at least from a talent evaluation standpoint? What are you looking for in a player? Everyone looks at the sexy, the bench. What's your reps? What's your 40 time? What's your cone drill time? Mm-hmm. What are you looking for most out of an individual player? Is it how he goes about performing his drills, his attitude, his character, or is it kind of a mix of both? What's the evaluation look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both. It depending on the position, right? Like if you're looking at defensive lineman, you want to see a good 3-cone drill. You don't always want to see a straight line speed. That 40 time doesn't always matter. But when you're looking at a defensive back, sometimes that 40 time will matter. You want to look at how they recover, how can they run long down the field and things like that in that straight line. And that's always important. You think back to a few years back with the Lions with Tabor. We took him in the second round, and his 40 time was like 4.65, and I've been permanently scarred for taking him in the second round over some other players. So, you just kind of put everything together. And when you look at like Malik Willis this year, he's not going to test. And it makes sense from a financial perspective because if his numbers aren't as good, then obviously it affects ultimately where he's going to go, because right now he, maybe started here and he's currently going way up because he's interviewing well and things like that. So you want to see how they interview, and then just depending on the position, specific drills kind of matter.
I want to ask you a question, Russell. We talked earlier about the wide receivers and the Lions being at 32, 34. The possibility, I'm looking at guys, like David Bell, a Jahan Dotson, hopefully a Treylon Burks. We'll see how, after the combine where he goes. But who's your personal favorite now, just getting a chance to scout these guys? And who's a player that we should watch that might be into the first round, early second, that might be a surprise?
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the first round, if there's an opportunity for us to land Jahan Dotson, I would absolutely love that. I mean, there's a chance that he could end up going a lot sooner. And I think when you look at this draft, if there wasn't a Treylon Burks or a Drake London there, then I think there would be a legitimate chance for Jahan Dotson to potentially be the first receiver off the board. I mean, he's a great athlete. He shows really good, agility and just lower body hip fluidity within his routes. He's got probably some of the most sure hands in this draft. He does a great job catching the ball away from his body, and he shows, a lot of good burst after catching the football and things like that. So I enjoy his overall skill set, and I think there's a chance he's there at 32. Maybe he's there at 34. I think those are realistic options. I don't see Treylon Burks or Drake London being there. I mean, I think when you get to the combine and then you see how big these players are, it makes a big difference for some teams, and it helps them really separate the group. Because with this wide receiver position, there's not really a sure number one guy. Like for me, Drake London's the number one receiver, but I would have no issues with the team taking Chris Olave as the first receiver in this draft. So it just really depends on ultimately how the boards shake out. But when you look at Burks, he's wearing 4X gloves. I mean, I got White Castle Spiders for hands, and he's wearing 4X gloves, So I think that's going to make a big difference when you just look at the overall size and then the speed of some of these players. But the realistic option would be Jahan Dotson. And then after that, I would say probably, David Bell would be the next guy just from the consensus perspective, who I think could be there at 32, 34. He understands how to use his length and separation, or length and hands to create separation. You saw it a lot against Michigan State earlier in the year, which pains me to say that. But, he did a really good job just beating us up. And he does a good job coming back to the football with back shoulder throws. He makes good adjustments. So I like David Bell quite a bit. I think he's going to test pretty well. And, he could end up being that pick at 32 just because they don't want to risk the chance of somebody else taking him at 33.
Russell, the last time you were on, you told us that Aiden Hutchinson was the clear number one prospect coming out of the draft. I got to talk to you about the number 2 overall pick for the Detroit Lions. I'm kind of hanging on the ledge right now. And if they go with a Malik Willis at number 2, 1, I want to know what are the chances of it. 2, what do you think they should do with the pick? 3, who are the best players on the board? And 4, how do I not kill myself if they take a quarterback at number 2?
Stay off the Ambassador Bridge, please. Good Lord. But yeah, like with this, I don't see them going quarterback. I really don't. I know that's kind of how we want to speculate it and things like that, because if that is your guy, you got to take your guy. But I don't believe it's going to be that way. I think you look at how this team is going, there's still a lot of areas where they can improve. And by taking a quarterback, you kind of put yourself in the 8 ball, because if you take him at 2, he doesn't necessarily have to play right away because you do have Jared Goff, but you're not really in a position to just take a guy and have him sit there and kind of wait. Like, you need to take your guy to know that he's a sure thing, and there's no QB here that's a sure thing. So I think Aiden Hutchinson makes a lot of sense. Could he go first overall? Yeah, he could. If he ends up going first, I think Kayvon Thibodeau would be the next player that they strongly consider, just because of, 1, his overall athletic ability, the blend of speed and power to his game. He's got a flexible lower body, which you like to see from the position. And really, I find it not concerning, but kind of eyebrow raising in a sense when Dan Campbell's talking at the combine and he's saying and mentioning that, we're going to potentially go to more of a 4-down lineman front. So that to me is kind of indicating that he's expecting one of those defensive linemen to be there, obviously, and he's got an interest in taking one of those guys. And just looking at how they've built this team, they're starting in the trenches, and that's what good football teams do. So could they go Malik? Yeah, they could. Could they go Kenny Pickett? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're in any position to take that quarterback just yet, because there isn't a sure thing. So you have Jared Goff. They've invested that time, obviously some money into him, and I think that's going to be their guy. So as they move into this year, and could they take one later in this draft at the 3rd or 4th round with like Bailey Zappi out of Western Kentucky? Absolutely. But I think it'll be Kayvon or Aiden ultimately. Kyle Hamilton, that's really a long shot. I'd be pretty surprised with that one.
Ooh, and that brings me to my follow-up question, because I want to get your personal take. We have this debate with people in our network as well, just taking that guy at number 2, and I'm talking about Kyle Hamilton, if you like him that much. Or are you on the team that says edge rusher is always more valuable? Because that's kind of how me and Adam always talk about it. Or are you in the camp of, if you like Kyle, take him at number 2? Do you see more value in that edge rusher early in the draft? Or are you someone that says safeties, maybe wait a little bit? Or like, what's your take on it?
Well, when you look at kind of the history here, you find better value with safeties later in the draft. When you look back at 2017, you see Justin Reed going in the 3rd round, Jesse Bates going in the 2nd round, really good safeties right there. Marcus Williams, another example, who could potentially be a Detroit Lion. He's going to hit the free agent market. I would, definitely think that he'd have some interest coming here to play with former coaches that he's played with in New Orleans. But ultimately, I mean, really what it boils down to is you got to take good football players. And the 2 best players in this draft outside of Evan Neal, to me, is Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeau. And sure, you could make that case for Kyle Hamilton, but if you're not bringing back Charles Harris, who led the way with sacks, and you potentially move on from Trey Flowers, which kind of looks like that's going to happen, if that's the case, who's rushing the passer? Because if you can't get after the quarterback, He's going to have all day to sit back there, which we've seen time and time again. I mean, how many times have we watched Aaron Rodgers go from left to right, stand back there, and just pick us apart? And sure, it would be great to have a ball hawk safety in the back end of your defense that's 6'4", 220, can pretty much do anything back there. But he's only one guy. He can only cover only so much ground back there in the NFL. You know, if he's playing in a dual safety look, if he's got cover 2 responsibility, he's only taking one half of the field. He's not taking the whole field. If it's a single high look, he's free to roam back there. But ultimately, it comes down to getting after the quarterback, and they've got to go after and get after the quarterback.
How I see it, or I'm not trying to discredit the prospect. I think we can all agree Kyle Hamilton's a great prospect, but it starts in the trenches, right? And when I think of a safety, I look at value. And the top 7 safeties in the NFL, 5 of them were selected after the first round. Tracy Walker was a 3rd, 4th round pick, I believe. You can find value. Jesse Bates. All right, yeah, you have the Minkah Fitzpatricks, but is he the MVP of that defense, or is it really T.J. Watt? And how I look at it is, if I want to stop the opposing team quarterback, I got to put pressure on him. And we saw it against Ohio State this year, Michigan and Ohio State. How did they beat Ohio State? Well, they got to the quarterback. It was that simple. They were able to run the ball, obviously, on offense, but I really think the way I wouldn't say eliminate, but the way you slow down a really talented quarterback is you put pressure on him. I think that's the clear and obvious choice, especially that high. My goodness, people are comparing him to Ed Reed. Russell, I kind of want to kill myself sometimes hearing it. We're talking the greatest safety ever, a top 3 defensive, top 4 defensive player of all time. And when you select Kyle Hamilton at number 2, if I'm not 4 or 5 years in with that 5th-year option, 20, 25 interceptions, 4 or 5 all-pros, well, what the hell did I spend it on? That's my problem with Kyle Hamilton. I don't think he can reach the expectation of a number 2 overall pick, even if he's a talented player.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rich comparison. I mean, to compare any player to a Hall of Fame caliber player is really, you're doing yourself a disservice. I'm not a big pro comparison guy. I like to let players be themselves because I don't want to put that target on them and say, oh, you've got to be the next Calvin Johnson, the next Ray Lewis, and et cetera. Sure, you can look at a player and see certain play styles and say, yeah, no, I could see, he's comparable in a sense and he plays similar to Golden Tate or whatever. But at the end of the day, I try to let a player be himself. I want Kyle Hamilton to be Kyle Hamilton. Could he be a Hall of Fame caliber player when it's all said and done? Absolutely, he could. But those are big shoes to fill. And like you mentioned, there's just so much value in this draft and really any draft at the safety position later. And I think when you look at this team, yeah, they got to draft good football players. But when you've got the possibility of 2 top-tier edge rushers being available to you, you've got to take that guy.
All right, Russell, I do want to take a quick break. When we get back, I do want to ask you about potential must-watch prospects. Who are you looking forward to seeing? I also want to ask you about a few defensive ends that I believe, likely given what's going around and circling throughout the NFL network, who could be available at 32, 34. Do the Lions take 2 edge rushers? I do want to get to that, but before we do, we got to go to break. When we get back, Russell Brown continues with us on the morning show. But Jeff, could you tell everybody about the lifestyle beverage drink in Cintron? I said tell him, not drink it.
1 second. I just had to get my sip in, Adam. Cintron, so delicious. Cintron World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling, flavored energy beverages, premium bottled water, and revitalizer shots. Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners with the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice. So, buy online at cintronworld.com. Use the promo code RedWings10. Save 10% with shipping included. Remember, drink it, live it with Cintron.
Everything that we've hoped for, finally.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
You don't have have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Woodward Sports. This part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We have Russell Brown with us this morning. We're talking about the NFL Combine. Guys, welcome to Russell.
Russ, welcome back, man. We have a few more questions before we let you get out of here. I'm going to start with possible edge rushers available towards the number 32, number 34 pick. Is there a scenario, and do you find value in the Lions potentially spending 2 of their first 3 picks on an edge rusher? Considering Charles Harris, you still have question marks. They have the option to cut Trey Flowers and save a ton of money after June 1st. Am I crazy to think, you know what, Aquara coming back off an injury, they may spend big on defensive linemen?
It's possible. I mean, we're talking about getting after the quarterback, the value there. Could you find yourself in a situation where you double down there? Absolutely. We've seen teams do it in the past. You look at Buffalo last year. They took Greg Russo in the first round, Carlos Basham in the second round. So it's very possible. And if people really want Kyle Hamilton, I guess you could take him at 2, and maybe you land an edge rusher at 32 and 34, or 32 or 34. And if they go that route, I mean, the player that stands out the most potentially in that spot is Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State. He was down at the Senior Bowl, checked in at 6'2", 256, really long arms, and he's an effective pass rusher with a wide variety of pass rush moves. You know, he gets the edge with great speed and flexibility, has long arms, and it shows with how he's able to create separation and counter back inside consistently. There's some raw power to his game as well. If he can line up the snaps properly as far as getting the timing down and getting in position correctly, I think he could be a terror off the edge. And maybe he's off the board by then because maybe he has a great combine this week and has some great interviews and is a lot higher than we're kind of seeing currently. But, you know, I love his skill set. I think he's got first-round potential. And if he's there at 32, if they don't take that edge rusher at 2, maybe they go Malik, maybe they go Kyle Hamilton. I'll be watching the Ambassador Bridge for Adham, but either way.
I'll be dead. Don't worry, Russell. Don't worry. You won't see me ever again.
But I did the same thing when we took Eric Ebron, so it's okay. I believe it.
Well, I'm glad you're still alive. My follow-up to the edge rusher question is I have my own, I guess you would say, sleeper kid I'm really high on, kid I think can be a top 8, top 10 edge rusher in the NFL within 2 to 3 years, depending on development. I'm a big fan of Cameron Thomas. I mean, this is a kid, hell, if I'm picking anywhere from 18 to 24, I'm considering him if I'm any other NFL team. And if this is a guy that falls to 32, it's going to be tough for me if I'm the Lions not to select him. I mean, this is the problem we have this year, is that it is a deep edge rushing class, but I want your evaluation of Cameron Thomas so far and what you think of him. I actually think the world of him. I think he can be your next Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, very similar in terms of ability. Where's he at in terms of his current development stage, what he looks like as a prospect, and what scouts and GMs possibly think of him?
Well, I mean, I think he had a pretty good week at the Senior Bowl as far as being able to come in and interview and things like that. He's definitely got to become a little bit more consistent with his hands, from whether it's countering inside or just really committing to one pass rush move. Like if he's going to long arm off the edge, long arm. Don't go with the long arm and try to swim back inside. There's times that he gets caught up on that, gets caught up on the blocks. But overall, there's really just some raw power to his game, great power overall. And he's somebody that can be very consistent off that edge. But my biggest concern is when you look at his games is he had a lot of coverage sacks. He had a lot of opportunities where the quarterback started evading the pocket, and he was just kind of in the right position at the right time. So I do wonder, is there maybe a limit or a cap to his overall production, or does he get into an NFL room and get with an NFL coach and they take his game to the next level? It's very possible because, again, there's a lot of raw power to his game, and you've got great length there and just that overall strength. So if you can get that and you can mold it, it's very possible. And Detroit might be the spot for him just simply because of kind of the mindset they're building up front and kind of with the coaches that they have here in Detroit. He could develop greatly here and maybe become that Max Crosby like you mentioned, or maybe he is, I don't know, maybe he is the next J.J. Watt. It's kind of hard to say because he does have that bigger build to his frame, which you don't see with all the edge rushers in this class. So is he very possible there? Absolutely. I would prefer if I had to kind of take that sleeper, like I said, Arnold Ebiketie, but another one would be Kingsley Enagbar from South Carolina. Sorry, I'm butchering that name, but he's definitely somebody as well. Really good, just blend of speed, power, length, and you know, it's a deep class. They're going to find a guy for sure off the edge, whether it's at 2, 32, 34, or even in the third round. But you know, if you're a Cam Thomas guy, I'm not gonna write you off the ledge here with that one.
So we've had this conversation, and we had a mock draft earlier this week, and we all hope they take Aiden Hutchinson number 2. But to kind of move the conversation to safeties, and I'm assuming at 32 you're going to have your choice of quite a few good safeties out of guys like, you know, Jaquan Brisker, Daxton Hill. Assuming obviously Kyle Hamilton will be off the board. Lewis Seen, I had him in my mock draft going to the Lions at 32. Who's been your maybe favorite safety, and who's some safeties that maybe the Lions need to start paying attention to?
I love Jaquan Brisker from Penn State. I really do. I just like his overall size. I like, even though, you know, he might not be the biggest guy on the field, he plays a lot bigger. He gets after it. You can do a lot with him as far as getting down into the box, playing over as an overhang defender in the slot, anything really. I mean, it's somebody like that, when you can have that versatility with the player, it goes a long way. And I just like how aggressive he is coming up field and making some tackles. So if they've got an opportunity to grab him, I would love that. I do like Daxton Hill quite a bit from Michigan. I don't know if he's necessarily going to be there at 32 or 34. He's somebody that I think could be a riser after this week because I think he's going to test probably a lot better than some of the safeties in this class. And I think there's going to be a team somewhere in that 20 range that might just fall in love with him and take him a lot sooner. You know, New England's always that wild card. Could they take a guy like that? You know, you look at Buffalo, they've got some older safeties there. Could they look in that direction? So Daxton Hill, though, would be that guy. But I like that you said Lewis Sine. I think he is somebody that if he's there potentially in that third round range, I would love his skill set. I think he is just so aggressive downhill. Maybe the best tackling safety in this class. So I like his skill set. And then just lastly, Jalen Petrie reminds me so much of kind of the Honey Badger in a sense that he can do almost anything on a defense. I mentioned versatility with Brisker. Petrie does it just as well. And he's somebody that I think from a coverage standpoint can be in the hip pocket of tight ends consistently. And if you can get that guy at 34 or even potentially in the third round, I think it could go a long way. As we mentioned, value to the safety spot. You could get a guy for 4 or 5, maybe even longer as far as terms of a contract where he's going to produce at a high level.
Russell, one last question for you before we let you go. You're sitting in the Lions war room, okay? And I am going to ask you, what are our needs in order in terms of value? What does your board look like? Forget what the team has, who's on the board. If we're prioritizing by team needs, positional value, what's the order? Is it edge, wide receiver, safety, linebacker? What's the order you're going into? What's the mindset you're going into at least day one?
Yeah, day one, I mean, I'm going edge from the very beginning. I mean, the fact that you can land one of the 2 best edge rushers in this class, you have to take it. It's, you know, it's one of those things. You can't, it's like when you're faced with taking Myles Garrett, you can't pass up on taking a player of that caliber at the first pick, the second pick, the third pick. You take good football players. So you got to go get after the quarterback. You take one of the edge guys. At 32, I'm not opposed to a wide receiver by any means. That would be the position I'm looking at just in case maybe some of these receivers fall. I mean, I have 6 first-round grades on the wide receivers, which is the most of any position in the draft for me. But I would be thrilled to have, you know, a Jameson Williams fall to me, a Chris Olave fall to me. If they're there, I take them. But if they're not there, I'm looking at the safety position with some of the guys that we mentioned as far as Brisker, Hill, Petrie, stuff like that. And really probably the sneaky need that I think we always kind of overlook because we've kind of put some resources into the group, but we haven't necessarily got the production out of it. Like, sure, Amani Ho, he had 5 interceptions this past year, but Jeff Okuda's coming back from a torn Achilles. We don't know what he's going to be. I think a corner could be very much in the cards here. And if there's a possibility of a Kyler Gordon from Washington who's going to blow the doors off the combine this week, if he's there at 32, you might just be better off taking that guy. He can play in the slot. He can play on the outside. So I think it would kind of be in that order of edge, receiver, and then if it's not receiver, it's got to be one of those secondary positions from safety or corner. And then as you get into that 3rd round and 4th round, I'm looking at, a valuable tight end that can back up Hawkinson because we don't know if he's going to re-sign with this team. Can he stay healthy enough to produce at a high level every year? And then beyond that, you got to find, I think, another linebacker in this group. Alex Anzalone could be gone. Jalen Reeves-Maben could be gone. So you've got to find a linebacker, and maybe that's Chad Buma from Wyoming. Maybe that's, Brandon Smith from Penn State. Maybe it's Darian Beavers from Cincinnati. So there's a couple of good linebackers in the second part of the draft for the group.
Awesome. Well, Russell, thank you so much. Can't thank you enough. Would love to have you back here next week after the draft combine is over with to kind of discuss what you saw, what's next moving forward, who's shooting up the boards. Russ, you were great today. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Have a good weekend, man.
Thank you, Russ.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we have to talk about something maybe, I don't know, most people are comfortable with or not. Does size matter? Not joking. It's a real question.
And to answer, I don't think it does.
He said it, not me. He said it, not me.
I did.
Does size matter? But I'll tell you what matters. What I drink every day.
Oh.
Gypsy vodka is the you know what, damn it.
Now you got to drink it like I did. No,
I know it's centered, but Gypsy vodka, the smoothest and best tasting vodka on the market.
You won't take
Michigan's
a shot?
vodka. Gluten-free. Locally owned and operated, may I add. Gypsy vodka, ladies and gentlemen. Check them out. Ask for it by the name of Gypsy. And please, as always, don't be like Maddie and drink responsibly.
Think you're a big shot?
Oh, excuse me, it goes down.
Think you can make the big shot?
Washington fires and hits.
Woodward Sports wants to send you to the finals for college basketball April 2nd through the 4th in New Orleans. That's right, you and a friend in the Big Easy. We'll take care of the airfare, hotel, and tickets to see the finals for college basketball. Listen Monday through Friday to the Morning Woodward Show. Big D Energy. And the bottom line for your chance to qualify. If you can make the big shot, you and a friend are getting out of the cold and to New Orleans.
Got it.
Keep listening and watching for your next chance to win. Powered by Planet Fitness, Centron, and the Sports Marketing Agency.
And it's over. Anything can happen in March.
Hi, I'm Cade Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
What's the over-under? Should I tease? Who is the lock of the night? Make sure you're watching Woodward Bets to get the latest in sports betting and more. Woodward Bets, daily on Woodward Sports.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're talking about size, apparently. And does size matter? But what kind of size are we talking about, Adam?
Well, Jeff didn't let me clarify because, he's a sexual human being.
Hey, you know what? Apparently it doesn't matter what we're talking about.
It doesn't matter to
Size
Jeff.
doesn't matter to Jeff.
I don't know. I would
Kenny
disagree.
Pickett, it doesn't matter. All right?
I would disagree. Look, no one's
Again,
measuring.
you still have to specify what we're talking about.
We're not measuring Kenny Pickett's dick size, so everyone take a chill pill, all right? We're talking about a hand size for a quarterback.
Yes.
Let's be adults here. All right?
Okay. You out of everybody is not the person that's allowed to say that.
Does size matter?
It's true.
Answer the question, yes or no.
I can't even answer
You have
this.
to answer the
no,
question.
No, I can't. Can't do it.
We're going to keep that camera on you all day until you answer that question.
My face is just going to get so red.
Yes or no? It doesn't. You don't have to tell me how small or big. Doesn't matter.
Does size
Thank you.
matter?
Doesn't matter. You already gave me a nod. Come on. Just say yes. It's
It
okay.
does.
Thank
It
you.
does matter.
All right, now we can
Sorry,
actually have a
Jeff.
conversation. Now everyone's disappointed in the room. All right. Jeff, will hand size
gosh.
affect where Kenny Pickett is selected? Right now, he's ranked in most.
Sorry to my
most
dad
mocks.
if you're listening again.
Yeah, sorry, Pops. I didn't mean to do that to your daughter. But will hand size affect where Kenny Pickett is selected? Jeff, do you think size matters in terms of hand size for a quarterback?
I could care less about quarterback size, and I'll tell you why. Joe Burrow, smallest measured hands in quite a while. I think Joe Burrow, it was between him and Jared Goff for the smallest hands ever recorded at the NFL Combine. You tell me how that worked out. Maybe Jared Goff, but no, Joe Burrow, smallest hands. I'll give you another one. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen didn't have giant hands. You know who had giant hands? Paxton Lynch. Ooh, Paxton Lynch. The late round, but Paxton. You know who else had big hands? Cody Kessler. Ooh, the quarterback, Cody. No, to sum it up, it does not matter. How can you process information? That's what matters. How quickly can you process information? How quickly can you go through progressions? That matters more than the size of your damn hands. The only thing that matters maybe is if you get blindsided, you have a 5% chance to hold on to the ball more successfully. But in terms of how accurate are you throwing the football? Can you process information? And can you go through your progressions? That's all I
What
give
was it, like this much?
It's more like this. No, but you get what I'm saying. It does not matter. Kenny
Oh,
Pickett,
no, I don't get what you're saying. I don't. Your hands are telling a different story than what's coming out of your mouth.
What's going in? Okay, you know what? Anyway, go. All right, move on. All right.
What the hell is that?
So, hold up. Pause.
We're clipping that.
We're getting to.
All right, and that's being sent
All
to
right.
HR.
Pause.
That's being put on Reddit.
Put it on pause. All right.
Social media. What goes
Just
in
cut
your
it out.
mouth, Jeff?
Cut it out.
It is
Tell
being
me.
clipped.
Tell me more.
Gum. You know.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
different
whatever.
things. But anyway,
Gum?
it does not. It does not
Yeah,
matter, Adam.
Sounds like something else.
It
Anyways.
doesn't.
Anyways.
Kenny Pickett, you're good.
Anyways, the average, just to name one quarterback who has a smaller hand size than the average NFL hand size, is Tom Brady. And if you ever notice in cold weather games, Tom Brady wears 2 gloves. So, no, it does not matter for Kenny Pickett. Now, is it ideal he has big hands? Okay, fine. It does not matter, though. It actually doesn't matter. We're not going to be able to get through this segment. That I know for sure.
I didn't mean to snort. I'm sorry.
Does hand size matter in bed? Here, we'll change
Okay,
it up.
no, we're not doing that
Does
either.
hand size matter?
What
I'm
about
asking.
foot size? I got
Or
big
foot
feet.
size.
Hey, that just means that you
I
need
got
big
big
socks.
feet. Does that count?
I need to know. I need to know. Does hand size matter?
Probably.
What do you mean probably? You
What are we
either-
talking about? Is this quarterbacks?
No,
or-
we're not talking about
I don't
quarterbacks.
even know-
We're so far off right now.
Okay, all right.
We're
You know
talking
what?
about sex. Does hand size matter?
It's not Friday. We can't be talking about this
Why?
right now.
Why?
What do you mean,
It's
why?
Friday Eve, isn't it?
It's not Fetish Friday,
It
so
is
we
it
can't be
Friday
talking
Eve?
about this.
Is it Friday Eve? There's something.
We got a
that
big
deals with
weekend,
Friday.
by the way.
Huh?
We got a big weekend, by the way.
Why? What's happening?
A
Fish
bunch
is
of
just trying
stuff.
to get
You
off
want to
the
know?
subject.
What?
Well, there's a big UFC fight this weekend.
Big hand measuring contest coming up.
All right. All right. I'm
I
looking
actually
forward to it.
have rather large hands.
Well, it's a good thing.
it.
I have man hands.
You have man hands?
Yeah.
Why?
They're huge.
Why?
Why? Idiot, Adam. Why?
Why does it qualify as man hands? I don't understand. I'm an idiot. Clearly.
Yeah, you are.
I'm
an
not
idiot.
following at all.
Yeah, we've known that for years. I have. Maybe you guys haven't.
Fish
but-
piles on. I love that at the end. He just he looks for a jab to throw
What
one
the
in
hell are
there.
you doing?
What?
I thought we were buddies.
We're buddies.
You just throw me under the bus?
Wait, you throw me on the bus every single second of my life. What am I supposed to do?
That's a good point. I can't argue with him. All right. Let's try to get back on track because we're this show has gone haywire.
I don't
after
think that'll happen.
Did you
Good
see
luck.
Joe Burrow's tweet about this though?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so
I didn't.
I think it was yesterday he put it up, and somebody quoted like about his hand size and how he could never make it in the NFL in like 2019, and he was like, he said something to the effect of like, "Oh, I'm so glad my little hands did not prevent me from doing well." So yeah, hand size it doesn't matter in the NFL.
In the NFL, I mean, we were making fun of Jared Goff for this, right, with the fumbles, but you know, I feel that's more of a concentration issue
Right.
than anything. That's nothing to do with hand size. Like, catch the damn ball.
would
It's
agree.
not difficult. If you can throw the ball 40, 50, 60, 70 yards downfield, I'm sure you can hold on to it. I'm sure you have a big enough hand to deliver NFL throws. It's a stupid thing for me. I don't think it affects his draft stock. But speaking of his draft stock, is he the first quarterback off the board, and when?
Oh. I'm starting to favor Malik Willis just because I think there's more interest. Everyone knows Kenny Pickett. He's going to come into the NFL at, 24, almost 25 years old. He's I would say, an essentially finished product. I'm sure he can get a little better, but he's the most pro-ready quarterback. No one's disputing that. The one with the most potential, it's clearly Malik Willis now. There's a lot of bust potential, but also there's a lot of other potential. The athleticism, he has a cannon. Now, is he accurate with it? There's a lot of questions. But I think there's a team out there that can fall in love with Malik Willis. The question is, will he be ready? And if you have a team like Washington who's selecting at 11, they're going to want a starter year one. So if they go Kenny Pickett, you get your guy a starter at year one. Now, Malik might have a higher upside, but it depends, Adam. It depends if they want a ready-to-play quarterback. That's Kenny Pickett. You want a guy who's a project that might have a higher upside. That's Malik Willis. It just depends on what Washington's feeling. I know the Steelers will be ready at 20. They'll select Malik Willis, but Kenny Pickett, to me, the most ready to play it. He'll probably go first.
Yeah, but is a team like Pittsburgh buying into a Malik Willis, or do they want more of a finished product where they can compete this year?
True. It could be Kenny Pickett.
So you have teams like Carolina. Yes, they have Sam Darnold, but quarterback play really cost them, and injuries, obviously. But that was a team that came out running to start the year 3. Best defense in the NFL, then they lose their rookie corner, then they lose their safety, then they lose a linebacker, then they lose an edge rusher, and then the quarterback starts to play like crap. Christian McCaffrey goes down basically for the whole season. That's a team, maybe they need a quarterback at 6, but they likely don't take a quarterback at 6. I don't see them in this year's draft class doing that. I think if they take a quarterback, the head coach is probably gone. That means they're planning for the future life without Matt Rule. I don't see Carolina taking a quarterback. Denver at 9. Does Denver take Kenny Pickett? Does Denver take Malik Willis?
Could be.
We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. I just don't think this quarterback class is something that I admire or I'm falling head over heels over. I'm just not. We just had Russell Brown on. And again, I think he pointed out perfectly. There's not a quarterback. This isn't a class where you're looking like, man, this guy can change my franchise around. You're looking at them like, you could. Not at number 2, not at number 6, not at number 9.
Right.
We got to go to break. When we get back, Matt LaFleur discusses his role in bringing Aaron Rodgers back to Green Bay, along with the latest updates and anything we may need. But speaking of Aaron Rodgers, what are the odds he returns to Green Bay? Well, I'll tell you where you can bet on those odds, and that's MyBookie. Bet from anywhere, anytime using MyBookie. And if you use code Woodward when you sign up today, if you haven't already, they'll match your first deposit $1 for $1. Now, Adam, what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means you deposit $100, they'll match you with a $100 bet. You put in $300-400, they'll match you with an additional $300-400. Guys, it's free money. Take advantage of it. Use code Woodward and sign up today. Take advantage of MyBookie's latest offer, $1 for $1 match. You can bet on the UFC this weekend, or you can bet on some college basketball. Never hurts. March Madness right around the corner. You could also bet on futures. Visit mybookie.com and check them out. Again, use code Woodward. And, of course, I can't let you go before I say this. If you suck at gambling or you have a problem, call the Gambling Problem Hotline at 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Screaming.
Make sure you put up a social post.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
They're empty? So I just send them the multi-quarter? Okay, back at 15. Coming to you, Maddie.
This is for the win.
Adam, talk for a bit so I can handle
all
all
of
this
Detroit
shit.
sports
10
teams
seconds.
live on Woodward. All of Detroit sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. As Matt LaFleur was discussing that he didn't want to annoy Aaron Rodgers in his decision making. What do you guys think?
Yeah, look, Aaron Rodgers, I don't. This guy, I mean, yeah.
What is he doing?
He's such a selfish prick. He's a jackass, narcissist.
Yeah.
Only cares about himself. Doesn't give a damn. That's Aaron Rodgers. And you know what? It's so frustrating because of how gifted and talented he is, but how impossible he is to work with. And that's why they only have one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And that's why as he's matured and become more of his own man, they've had less postseason success than his early days. It's not the coaches. It's not the roster. It's him. He's impossible to work with. He's difficult to deal with.
But he had a cleanse.
He had a cleanse.
Still
a 12-day cleanse, right? Can't keep a girl. Can't keep his family. His mom and dad don't even like him. His brother doesn't even talk to him. And they don't even talk to each other. It's like a whole thing. Unbelievable. That's my quarterback. Matt LaFleur discussing, you know, what it's going to take. He doesn't want to annoy. Really? Oh, I don't want to annoy Aaron because, you know, I don't want to hurt his feelings so he can come back and play for our football team. What the hell is going on? That's how we're treating this quarterback right now?
You think he's a, I don't want to say warrior.
Bitch, yeah.
Well, he's probably thinking, I'll take Aaron over Jordan Love back there.
Of course.
But I get you, though. I don't know. He's kissing a little too much ass. I thought Aaron was going to make a decision way quicker than he is right now. He came out and said, I'm not going to take too long with my decision-making. I'm going to take my time. It's going to be a thorough process. And now we're to the point where we're still wondering what is Aaron going to do. And I think I get it. Aaron's earned the right to take his time, but also in a way it's slightly disrespectful to the organization that's waiting on you. It's waiting on what you're going to do. I don't think he asked for a trade. I think he remains in Green Bay because you got to look at the facts. If Aaron asked for a trade, I don't know if he completely controls where he goes. I think that's more so on the Packers. He might have an input or he could threaten retirement, but I see ultimately Aaron returning to the Packers, and if that's the case, why waste everybody's time? I really don't get it. He might be, you know, one of the best quarterbacks. He might be elite, but he's a pain in the ass. And the Packers are starting to see it. It's kind of like that Brett Favre effect towards the end of his career. Are you retiring or are you not? I mean, this is the first time with Aaron Rodgers, but if he's doing it this offseason, my God, what is he going to be like next offseason? I think this is who Aaron Rodgers is. I think he's hard to work with. I think he's got good intentions for the most part. I just think he sometimes acts like a complete ass like this. Like, if I'm Matt LaFleur, I'm saying, listen, we're moving on. We're going to at least focus on our future, building this roster. Whatever Aaron does is what he does. If he chooses to return, that's on him. If he doesn't, we'll figure it out. They drafted a quarterback. They traded up and drafted Jordan Love. So don't walk back on your decision now. You're a couple of years in. Aaron Rodgers may be very well, if not this year, next year, he's gone. So I don't know. From a Packers perspective, I'm looking at it like, hey, man, do what you wish, Aaron. At this point, like, we ultimately see a ceiling with this Packers team. If you don't see it now, you've seen it the last couple of years. So it's not like Aaron leaving is going to put the Packers, yes, they're going to be significantly worse. But if you have to wait on Aaron Rodgers to make a decision before Matt LaFleur can make his, that's just the wrong way to go about it. It really is.
He only cares about himself, and he's probably loving all this right now. He's probably sitting back like, yeah, keep talking about me, keep talking, yep. Aaron loves to make everything about himself, even though he'll come out and say, well, it's not about me, and I had a cleanse, and, you know, I'm willing to hear Aaron out. I really am. I don't think he's a horrible human, but, dude, you can't be this difficult to work with. Like, it was the head coach, right, with Mike McCarthy. All right, we brought you Matt LaFleur. You've had two of your best seasons ever in your life. You've had 2 MVP seasons now back-to-back. They gave you a damn defense. They held the Niners to 13 points. You couldn't score 14 and win a playoff game at home?
But blame special teams.
It's ridiculous. It really is. Like, I want to appreciate Aaron Rodgers for how gifted and talented he is and how successful he's been in the NFL.
Right.
But God damn it, man. Like, you need to be the one in that room. If you really want to play for this team and if you really want to compete with the Packers, you need to walk in and say, all right, this is the deal you're going to give me. You can push all the money back 3 years. We're going to sign Devontae Adams. You're going to go out and get me a marquee free agent. And we're going to try to get to a Super Bowl in the next 2 seasons. And then I'm done. I'm retiring. What's so hard about that?
Right.
Why are you so difficult to work with? It's unbelievable to me. It really is.
And this isn't, I mean, this is the complete opposite. It isn't like the New England Patriots where you have, Bill Belichick pushing Tom a little bit out the door. The Packers want Aaron, and he's still like, you know what? I'm going to take my sweet time. I'm going to wait and just decide. I'm not going to make this decision take too long, even though it's taken quite some
13
time.
days till free agency begins.
So, it's different. Like, you have Tom doing his thing, and you have Aaron now throwing a hissy fit. So I'm curious to see what he does. I mean, from a Lions fan perspective, of course you want him out of the division, but at this point, it's like, if he's going to stay, then just say it.
Talk about karma. Seriously. Because Brett Favre wanted to come back and play in Green Bay, and they wanted to move on with Aaron. Okay, fine. It paid off early, and after all these years, you're now in the same situation you were with Favre. Do I keep this guy? Does he stay? Do we move on? Jordan Love doesn't look ready. Aaron Rodgers didn't look ready that first year.
Yeah.
To be fair to him.
It seems like the difference is they wanted Brett Favre. They kind of pushed him knowing they had Aaron. This time it's almost like, hold on, Aaron. We don't know if we got our guy yet.
I mean, Brett Favre wasn't as successful.
Right. He was,
right? I mean, well, not that. I don't mean him individually because he went into Minnesota and
still
delivered
played well,
right
but
away.
They felt Aaron was...
I get it, but the roster in Green Bay right now is a Super Bowl roster. If they can keep Adams, bring back Rodgers, they have a damn good team. But Rodgers needs to be the one that takes less money. He's the quarterback.
Can't be the highest paid. It's impossible. And you want Devontae Adams, it's impossible.
I don't understand. I really don't.
That's the thing. If he does choose to come back to Green Bay, I wonder how that works with his contract. You saw the reports about him wanting to be the highest paid quarterback. I don't know if I believe that because it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. The Packers are, $30 million over the cap. You're going to have to re-sign Devontae Adams. They already acknowledged that the franchise tag probably isn't the option. And you have Aaron Rodgers, who hasn't said really a peep up until now, and now he's coming out. There's a report he wants to be the highest paid quarterback. Like, I'm doing the math in my head. It's not adding up. This doesn't make any sense. So who knows what Aaron's going to do. It's going to take him being humble, coming back, taking less money. If you want to be that guy, you can get your guy, Devontae Adams, but take less money. You can't come back, be the highest paid quarterback and expect to have any success. You just lost to the San Francisco 49ers with probably the best roster you're going to have the next couple of years. So it ain't looking good.
It really disappoints me because I do think a lot of Matt LaFleur. I think he's a pretty decent coach. He's not great yet, but I think he's a good coach.
Yeah.
And the Green Bay defense was the best it's been in years. And obviously they have one of, if not the best wide receiver, most unstoppable wide receiver in the NFL in Devontae Adams. They always have a good offensive line. They have a dynamic backfield in Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And it's never enough for Aaron, right? Aaron needs more. Sounds like LeBron James to me. I need more. Give me more. I need more. But pay me at the expense of everyone else.
Yeah.
Come on. It's a joke.
Doesn't add up.
It's a joke. I don't see where Green Bay go from here. If you had to make that tough decision, you're the GM. Do you trade away Aaron, let's say, for a minimum just 2 first-round picks? Or do you deal with him and let him go for free after the end of the year?
I think if I'm Brian Gutekunst and you already have a prior relationship with Aaron and it's a little shaky, I would go up to Aaron and approach him. What do you want to do?
Yeah,
but
you do that with a normal person. A human, right?
Yes,
a guy that's willing to have a conversation, not Aaron Rodgers.
Right. It's tough because I'm not going to sit. Aaron Rodgers at least deserves the right to be spoken to and acknowledged. Listen, I'm a GM. I have to do what's best for my team, and me doing that means I got to figure out what I'm doing at the quarterback position. I have no certainty you'll be back. So, number one, give me an answer. What are you doing? And then if you are going to leave, let me know now so I can trade you out of town. Because Aaron having all the power right now, I get it. Like it's ideal for players to have more power in this situation, but it's honestly like. It's not benefiting Aaron at all. He has all the power, all the leverage, but if I'm the general manager, I'm going up to Aaron and saying, listen, I'm the general manager. I have the leverage. What are you doing before I make a decision for you? And whether that's trading him or whether that's you're staying here, you ain't going nowhere, bud, unless you retire, that's on him. But if I'm the general manager, I'm growing a pair, and I'm approaching Aaron, whether it's trading him, keeping him, or he retires. I mean, you got to have an answer before the draft especially, so we'll see what they do.
We'll see what they do. The Green Bay Packers are in such a weird situation. They could either be contenders next year or in a total rebuild. Who knows? Who really knows? What I do know is Planet Fitness is part of my everyday lifestyle and my everyday habit. 5 days a week, going to the gym really helps me take care of my mental and physical health. As somebody that works a lot, I got to find time for me. And a good stress reliever, a good way to keep myself mentally and physically in shape is by working out at Planet Fitness. $0 down, $10 a month to get started. You can visit them at planetfitness.com or just stop by any Metro Detroit location and sign up for your membership today. Remember, your fitness is essential, both physical and mental health. I can't stress that enough. I have been taking it serious, and it's something I really feel has changed my outlook on life, my production, both personal and professional life. So it's something I totally recommend for all of you. Go to the Judgment Free Zone. This is the Judgment Free Studio, as they're our studio sponsors. So check out Planet Fitness, $0 down, $10 a month. We'll see you guys right after the break.
What do you get when you mix fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken with our savory signature sauces? The best damn wings you've ever had. Wing Snob Traditional Wings. Try our Jamaican Jerk or Lemon Pepper. And we toss them to perfection. When your wings are this good, it's easy to be a snob. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wing Snob. We just have better wings.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Opinions are like ear holes, and we're putting ours in yours.
Well, that's not winning, joint.
It's Woodward Sports.
Chili Peppers Tanning Salon is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D with spotless, sanitized rooms and trained, certified training professionals. Guys, Chili Peppers Tanning Salon has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans, and is also your headquarters for vitamin D. Don't forget to pick up Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Caltan, and Swedish Beauty Lotions along your way there. 26 locations. A new one that just opened between 12 and 13 Mile in Berkeley. Check out Chili Peppers Tanning. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. Guys, 9:50, you know what time it is. It's time to get your questions involved in the show. Mailbag time. Jeff, what do we got? What's the first question?
The first question comes from Flintstone. The Lions do not have a fourth-round pick. Should they trade 34 for a third and fourth? I'm under really the group of people that think, I don't know if others agree with me, I like having the 32 and the 34 pick. I think it gives you flexibility, and it also gives you an opportunity to think if you don't select a wide receiver at 32, you find a defensive player, you could still get him at 34, and you could get three very talented guys those first three picks. So I'm under the favor of staying there, and that kind of brings me to the next question. James, Jeff, would you be willing to package up the 32nd and 34th pick to move up in the early 20s, grab a possible Nakobe Dean or a receiver? I actually would. If Nakobe Dean falls to the 20s, and the Lions are in a position where they could trade up to get him, of course. I love Nakobe Dean. I think that's a player worth trading up for. Receivers, I think there's going to be a receiver that falls. I don't know if I'd make a deal like that. It'd have to be a guy you're absolutely sold on, maybe a Drake London, but even then, I think it'd have to be Nakobe Dean I'd trade up for.
Wasim has a great point. The more I watch Treylon Burks, the more I love him. He's basically prime Anquan Bolden, and I would trade up in the first round, giving up the 32 overall pick and maybe a fourth or fifth round pick to go into the early 20s to snag him.
That won't be enough. He's going top 15.
Yeah.
Man, they're going to have to trade up 17 spots is a lot. Yeah, we'll see. Who knows where these wide... I mean, Jefferson landed, 22 to the Vikings? So you never know. Mm-hmm. You never know what teams like, don't like, what they need, what they're feeling in the moment. Maybe they make a bad decision on draft night. We see it all the time, so... Treylon Burks would be an absolute steal if they trade up, let's say, to 24, 22 and get him. That would be phenomenal. They would have to give up a little more, though. I do agree with you.
I like Drake London there.
Yeah? But the problem is I think he goes top 10.
Over Burks? I think Burks first one off the board.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I
think London, but Burks will be there.
The order, I think, just right now, we haven't seen Combine Pro Days yet, is I'm going to go London, Garrett Wilson, and then we'll go with Treylon Burks.
The guy you guys mentioned earlier that could be available even at 32 is Pickett. I think that's a super interesting pick.
I think you have to. I think the problem at 32 is what position do you want to offer a fifth-year option to? A wide receiver or a defensive player? And I can't knock it if it's a wide receiver because we know when they hit the market, they get paid.
They get paid. Yeah.
Like a linebacker, what does it cost you? You can pay the best linebacker in the NFL and it doesn't kill you.
Yeah, but I mean, worrying about the 5th-year option for the 32 pick right out the gate is that's almost fool's gold.
It's not the most important factor.
But that's saying that 32 pick is turning out really good.
But that 32 pick has value. Anything in the first 32 has value because it's an additional year on a contract, right? So as a GM, it's not the most important thing you think of, but it's definitely something you consider. Especially because you're the Lions, you're picking 32 and 34. And if you think you can survive that one pick and still get your guy, that's where I think that comes into play.
Right. I just think if that's our concern, we're playing with house money, baby.
It's a good problem to have.
Yes.
I'll tell you that.
That is a good problem to have.
Let's see, what other questions do we have in here?
Let me see.
I know I'm the oddball, but I think we trade up and grab a stud after the number 2 pick. Don, what position are they going to trade up for outside of wide receiver? Right? Because if they address the edge at number 2, they don't need to trade up, right? Because you'd only, in theory, trade up for maybe a Devin Lloyd, Nakobe Dean, a wide receiver. Those are the only 2 positions I see them trading up for. And Devin Lloyd, I mean, I fall in love with him every single day more and more. I think he's a top 10 pick. I think Devin Lloyd goes in the top 10.
I would agree with you.
So
Lloyd's the only guy that I don't
know,
throw the chips in for.
It's not that the Lions can't make a deal to trade back. I think they can. But you're not going to get a haul of picks. So if you trade with Denver, let's say, you may get the 1st-round pick, which is the 9th overall pick. You may get their 2nd-round pick and maybe their 3rd-round pick. And maybe a future 2nd?
Deep
but you're not getting multiple ones like you would if it's a quarterback being selected at number 2, right?
Right.
So even if Denver wants to trade up to 2, well, why would Denver even do it? Because they need a quarterback. And they feel like, yeah, we're probably going to have our option of Pickett or Willis at number 9.
And do they want a defensive player in that top 3? So
and are they?
Top
well,
2?
If they trade up, they're basically saying we want an edge rusher.
Yeah,
that's what they're saying. And again, what do you get? Their 9th pick, the 41st pick, a 3rd-round pick, and then maybe a future 2nd or 3rd? Okay, fine. So then I'm picking at 9 and 32, 34 and 41, and I can maybe walk away. Devin Lloyd at 9, Cameron Thomas or the kid Russell Brown brought up.
Out of Penn State?
Out of Penn State at 32.
Yep.
Jahan Dotson. And then I can go edge rusher at 34. And then I can go safety at 41 or vice versa. So there's options. I just don't know.
I don't love Dotson. I don't love Dotson there.
Oh, really?
He's too small. Amon-Ra St. Brown
I think he's the best
Dotson,
route runner.
Yeah, I think we have that in Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's why I like David Bell. I'd agree with him in a way.
Yeah, but I mean, you could argue that, and I know this is one team, and you want, versatility, but the Rams with Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp were just fine, and they're similar, maybe not in all aspects, but I think you get a receiver like Jahan Dotson.
If he can play on the outside as well.
I think what you guys are getting at is you want a perimeter player.
Yes.
Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
A possession wide receiver.
You want a guy that you can throw to the sideline 15, 20 yards downfield.
That's why I like London. That's why I love Treylon Burks. They're both 6'3", 6'4".
I think that's the better option. I do agree. I'd 100% agree. What other questions do we have in here? If Kayvon Thibodeau falls to 8 or 9, do you think the Lions trade up to get an NFL version of Hutchinson / Thibodeau?
So they already have...
So, yeah, what does that mean for the Lions at 2? Yeah, look, I mean, this is the tricky part. The number 2 pick, I just don't see a suitor. I don't see why a team would trade up to 2. If I'm a GM, if I'm New York, I'm not giving away 5 and 7. If I'm the Jets, I'm not giving away 4 and 10.
The Eagles aren't giving theirs in the middle of the round.
The Eagles aren't giving up 2 middle round picks.
3, yeah.
For what? The number 2 overall pick? If anything, they should package 2 of those picks and move up into the top 10, top 8. And then what they can do is get a premier player and then get an edge, maybe get a secondary player. Who knows? I like George Pickens. I think that's the realistic option at 32. If he's available at 32.
I actually like George because everyone knows the clip of him shushing the Michigan sideline before the sideline. He shushed him and then he just plowed a cornerback over for Michigan. I'm not completely sold on George Pickens. I got to watch more film on him though. A lot of people are starting to like him. He's quick. Didn't play. He was injured a lot this year at Georgia, but I think that's an interesting choice.
Yo, Adam, you said Jared Goff, not a Super Bowl quarterback, if that's what I'm understanding. So what does that say for the future? It says that he's a bridge quarterback. It says that you can actually build a winning culture here, with Jared Goff. You can win 10, 11, 12 games a season with him, I think, if you build the right roster and the head coach is what you think he is. And then you can do what the Chiefs did, which is go all in on a quarterback, sit him for a year if you want, and then you start the next phase of your evolution with him. That's what I think Jared Goff offers you, and that's the most value he offers you. He's not one of the top 10, top 12, top even 14 quarterbacks in the NFL, but he's good enough to win you football games. And I think that's all you can ask for out of him.
Yeah.
Can you help build the culture like an Alex Smith did in Kansas City, if you want to use that as an example, and then go get your guy and then take your team to the next level?
He's the Mackinac Bridge of quarterbacks.
I don't mind that. I think it's too much of a compliment, but okay.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Kyle Hamilton at 2 and then Edge at 32 and 34? Dope. I don't know if you missed earlier in the show. I would jump off the Ambassador Bridge if they took Kyle Hamilton at number 2 or Malik Willis. You don't take a safety at 2. I don't understand anybody's logic. Nobody's made a compelling argument to me yet on why Kyle Hamilton should be the number 2 overall pick. He plays a position that you can find value in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round pick and you get excellent production. Now, let's say he's Ed Reed. Then you can take him at 2. And if he isn't, then what? You're a jackass is what it is. And you're just talking, trying to sound like you're smart, and you're actually not. Because the safety is the actual last line of defense. And even if you play him in the box, Jamal Adams was selected number 6 overall. And his strength coming out of college was his ability to play in the box. And he was an all-pro safety player. Why? Because he could get to the quarterback, stop the run. Well, look at him now. And even after all those all-pros with New York, and then he went to Seattle and made an all-pro, and all the Pro Bowls, what did that mean for their football team? Nothing. The Steelers were 9-8 this year with no quarterback, no offense, and TJ Watt. I'll rest my case just on that.
If Hutchinson is drafted first, what is the Lions' option? Kind of tie back into the Kyle Hamilton segment. Listen.
You decide between the kid out of Purdue and Thibodeau. You take an edge. If you can't trade back, you have to take an edge.
I get what you're right. I'm not going to argue with you. I have to be sold on Kayvon, and so far I love Kayvon a lot. I just think it's tough, man. It really is. I think edge rusher always wins the argument, so it's tough.
Right.
I'm probably going to go Kayvon.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on a Thursday morning here on the Morning Woodward Show. Make sure you check out Big D Energy. They've got scout expert, draft expert, Scott Bischoff on today's show. I'm excited to watch it. Make sure you give them a look. Make sure you give them a like. Give them a view. Show them some love. Tell them the Morning Woodward Show sent you.
Yes.
Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Friday, we got a jam-packed show, and we got a special guest tomorrow.
We do.
Not going to say who. Special guest joining the morning show tomorrow. Really excited. First time appearance. We'll see you guys all tomorrow. Take care.